up for business, it is imperative that we examine the current and developing challenges so that we can adapt strategically to the new ideas and practices that are emerging worldwide as well as domestically. I'd like to now first invite the Senior Vice President, Iato, Mr. E.M. Najib, to please make his opening remarks.
Good morning, dear friends. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I'm delighted to see all of you this morning here after a late night yesterday. Before we start the meeting, I request you to rise for a minute silence in memory of our friends who have departed last year. Thank you. It's a great honor and pleasure for me to welcome the distinguished members of Iato, their families, respected invitees, speakers, media personalities, guests and friends. We are indeed grateful to our Honorable Chief Minister Sri Yogi Adityanath Ji for giving Iato this opportunity. We are also grateful to Honorable Tourism Minister Sri Jaiveer Singh Ji and the Principal Secretary and DG Tourism Sri Mukesh Kumar Mishram Ji for their valuable support to organize this convention. The last couple of years, we really had a tough time in our lives. As we have experienced, our tourism industry has been particularly hit hard. Many of us faced closures, layoffs, and financial uncertainty, but within these challenges lies the opportunity to rise stronger than ever. As we see the light at the end of the tunnel and we move forward, together we can overcome challenges, capitalize the opportunities, and drive the industry forward. Around 20 participating states will showcase their tourism portfolio, so our members get a fresh, first-hand view of the tourism products and destinations and circuits. Eminent speakers will adorn the business sessions, and we have Secretary Civil Aviation, Sri Mr. Rajiv Bensal, Mr. Rakesh Verma, Additional Secretary Tourism, and other senior officers from all the participating states. Our theme of this convention, Inbound Tourism, What Lies Ahead, and the theme session covers the challenges and opportunities in the first session. Hotels and tour operators form a key pair of tourism stakeholders. As we move forward, it is important for us to come together as a community and support each other. As we navigate this new landscape, session 2 delves on this subject. Special session on Uttar Pradesh tourism will explore the new tourism portfolio of the state. This will go a step further with business session 3 on opportunities in Uttar Pradesh, including spirituality, river cruise, new circuits, and storytelling. What is tourism product without effective marketing? In today's increasingly competitive market, it is important than ever to stand out, to be strategic and innovative in our marketing efforts. This business session 4, Needed the Hour, tourism marketing and promotion, correctly dives into this facet. The efficacy of destinations is determined by its accessibility. Our business session 5, Last Mile Connectivity, Air, Rail and Road, discuss its critical aspects. UNWTO and the G20 Tourism Working Group have developed the Al-Ula framework to further advance the contribution of the sector as an effective means towards fairer growth and advancing the Sustainable Development Goals. Yesterday, the Tourism Secretary, Mr. Aravind Singh Ji, was talking about that. Tourism ministers of the G20 nations have committed to stepping up their efforts to place sustainability and inclusion at the heart of the tourism recovery and future growth as India takes presidency of the G20. It marks an opportunity to refocus on our responsible and sustainable tourism practices with our business session 6, Explore the World. Lastly, we need to break free from the usual. As we look at the future, we must be open to new ideas and willing to take risks. We must be willing to challenge the status quo and embrace change. Our business session 7, Search for New Ideas, What Next, is designed to challenge us to open our minds and think differently. And I'm sure this session will aptly delight all our members. The network luncheon sessions, the dinners, and the entertainment evenings will provide ample opportunity for business and pleasure. The booths of the participating states at the Travel Mart gives a great opportunity to strengthen our knowledge and business tie-ups. I request all the members to kindly please visit all the booths and support them. The motivational talk by an eminent personality will make us think on a possible roadmap of our life. Iato Run is for the fitness mantra, and we shall have the active participation from members as in the past. It is tomorrow morning we are doing that. We have always kept on-site marketing of the host state as a finale with our post-tour programs. This year is no exception. The 5 post-tours will endeavor to market Uttar Pradesh and its tourism profile to the discerning tourists globally. Ministry of Tourism has taken several steps to further strengthen the tourism industry at the Dharmashala Tourism Ministers Meet. The stakeholders and the policymakers of the participating states will bring on the table new vistas and opportunities that our states have to offer, and our members to capitalize on this, leading to a win-win for incredible India. Your convention has laid down the plethora of opportunities before you so that you make the most of it and surge ahead in your enterprise. I once again heartily welcome you to this 37th Iato convention in this historic and beautiful city of Lucknow. I'm confident that this conference will make you engaged. We can use this opportunity to learn, grow, to drive innovation in the tourism industry. Thank you all very much for being here, and I look forward to an exciting, memorable, and productive few days together. Now, here is a visual manifestation of how we are ready, prepared by Iato. Please enjoy. Thank you very much.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are now ready for our first business session, Inbound Tourism and What Lies Ahead. I'd like to invite the first panel of speakers to the dais for the detailed discussion on this topic. So may I invite the Additional Secretary Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, Mr. Rakesh Kumar Verma, Mr. Meshram, Principal Secretary and DG Tourism, Government of Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Shiv Shekhar Shukla, Principal Secretary Tourism and MD at the MP Tourism Board, Mr. Sachin Jadhav, Director Tourism and MD Odisha Tourism Development Corporation, Mr. Abhay Sinha, Director General Service Export Promotion Council, Mr. Rajiv Mehra, Director, Uday Tours and Travel, Private Limited. That's our panel. To moderate this panel, we have the Director, Durgadas Publications, Mr. Sanjeet, who ventured into publication business after a short stint with the Times of India. Mr. Sanjeet is also the co-chairman of PATA India and FICCI and is very closely associated with the travel industry. So it's over to Sanjeet now to moderate this session.
Thank you, Rini. Master of Ceremonies, you've been doing a great job. Thanks a lot. That's wonderful. As I start, namaste to everyone. Pleasure to see a full house over here. That's remarkable. Quick question. How many of you understand English? How many of you understand Hindi? So we can all speak in Hindi and English, so you all understand that. That's what I really want to do. Okay, friends, I'm going to request you to start with something. May I request all of you, not my dais, but everybody who's sitting here to stand up for 1 minute. Can you please, all of you stand up? And put your hand on the person standing next to you, on their shoulders, please. Sabne kar liya? Now please pat their shoulders. Say that you did well, you passed the pandemic, you're all here. That is what makes a big difference. Congratulations to all of you to be here with us. Thank you guys. Please take a seat. Okay, let's now get on with basically what we say is what lies ahead. I wish all our experts had a crystal ball and they could gaze onto it and tell you what lies ahead. But we are going to look at them and request them to see their own crystal balls and see what they can come up with. Now, please understand, sir, everybody, that inbound is a huge topic. When he talks about what lies ahead is really a mammoth topic, and we can go on talking about it and talking about it. So what we decided now is, since we are sitting in the tour operators convention, all the tour operators are here, so we are going to take a look at what lies ahead from a tour operator's point of view. That is what we are basically going to do. And I have requested all my policy makers, if I may say, to avoid discussions on consumer, but stick to the tour operator's point of view. That will really make things better. I know you all want to hear this, but I'm going to take a minute to say a few things. Please understand, the tour operators, and this for everyone, are the ones, and all of you know that, but still I want to say, you are the ones who bring the total segment of the travel and tourism industry together. You are the ones who get the guides, the language guides, the transporters, shopping, everything. You are the ones who put it together. That's the crucial part. Imagine, now I'm just thinking, imagine if an airline, if somebody doesn't come through a tour operator and he's on his own, even it could be through an online, I don't mean bad for them. Suppose an airline, he reaches over there and the airline cancels the flight, or is going to get delayed by 6 or 7 hours. What happens? That's where you guys come in. You become very important. Now, other thing, which is small thing, which is there, getting into the airport, everywhere in the world you can get into the airport without a ticket. In India, you require it. Who's going to guide them? Who guides the tourists? So many times I've seen, I don't know if you've noticed it, there's some international tourists who've come on their own, they have their laptop open and they're trying to find their ticket to show to the security guard to let him go in. Those are things which is happening, and all this is thanks to you. You are the guys who are going to guide them and teach them. So that's why when I say, all of you, that the tour operators, as tour operators, you all understand the environment of the country, the environment of the city, and you know what to sell when, where, and to whom. That's the key part. And you all know very well that, frankly speaking, that one size doesn't fit all. Now, the good part is that inbound, if I may say, before the pandemic was money, money, money for all. Not only money over here, it actually guaranteed employment. It actually provided infrastructure, and small infrastructure in remote areas, which actually led to development. My last point, which I want to make to all of you. Some of you may know, but I think you may be all surprised. In 2019, do you know how much of foreign exchange was earned by this country through tourism? The total amount of money which tourism earned, foreign exchange, which India earned in 2019 was, hear this carefully, 2,11,000 crores. You guys earned that money for the country. Kind of applaud for yourself. जोर से तालियां मार लो अपने लिए. Come on, guys. That's what tourism did. That's the kind of money we have actually come up with. So anyway, now I'm not going to take any more time. I think I've given you something, but I'm going to go to my panelist. And if I may start with Rakesh Kumar Verma ji, you're right in the center of it. You are the main person who actually pushing international tourists and all that for this whole country. My first question, sir, to you would be, the mic is right there, sir. After the pandemic happened, what role do you see for the Indian tour operators to help and work with you to promote tourism? Because please understand, sir, the tour operators are the people who translate all your efforts. If you're going to ITB or even to WTM, you can go there, you can open a beautiful place and have a good-looking India pavilion. But the numbers of translation who are going to get the foreign tourists is actually coming from everybody sitting in this room. So after the pandemic, what are your thoughts, sir, on how and what is the role of the tour operator vis-a-vis with you promoting?
Thank you, Sanjeev. And let me first congratulate Iato for a very successful convention, yesterday's grand opening. And I think we all can now look beyond pandemic in all respect. And also the basic question and the theme of the convention, what lies ahead. So you mentioned before pandemic, in 2019, the foreign exchange 2,11,000 crore. And also the numbers, if you look at 17.9 million. It wasn't exactly crystal ball, but clear projection by the ministry. We were looking at doubling that number by 2030. There was a committee of secretaries which had deliberated how this sector is going to grow. This disruption of COVID definitely is going to impact. So the most conservative numbers we're looking at is still 25 million by 2030. But we also have a chance of achieving 30 million by 2030. And the confidence comes from our 17.9 million is just about 1.25% of global international tourist arrivals. A country like India deserves much better. So there is a clear potential for us to increase our share in the global market. The biggest constraint we had in tourism sector was on the supply side. The world today knows about India. What we have to offer, I'm sure, is unparalleled. And on the supply side is where we have really scored very well, whether it's in terms of connectivity infrastructure, whether in terms of the cities getting better infrastructure, whether it's about digital or connectivity. So something which was earlier not exposed to, the destinations which were far off. So this whole strengthening and development on the supply side is a great confidence that India has a great future. So what lies ahead is a great future for inbound tourism. Some of our states are very aggressive, and you will see in the course of discussion today, and many more states. Today, yesterday also we were sharing 20 states are attending this Iato convention, which has not happened before. Earlier, maybe about 5-6 states were really doing great promotion, but in times to come, we will see many more states joining, and that will all result into a better future for tourism in the country. As far as tour operator, I mean, you are the most significant part of the tourism value chain, a very essential component. You interface with the customers, you interface with the markets, and that role is only going to increase. Post-pandemic, I'm sure there are structural changes, there are changes in the pattern which are going to emerge and stabilize in tourism sector. So as a tour industry, you will be the first one to really feel those changes and also be impacted by them. The way forward will be probably to work with you, with the states very closely, and to make sure that we are able to figure out what are those changes and how do we respond to those changes to make sure that our inbound increases, we get back to pre-COVID level as early as possible. Some of the data and analysis shows that we are recovering the fastest in Asia Pacific region. This is the flight booking data which gets published every quarter, and so that's a good news. Earlier predictions were by 2024 we may have to wait for the full recovery, but now I think most of the industry also I speak to, they are optimistic that by end of 2023 we may be recovering to pre-pandemic level. So another probably going forward, how do we really work with industry, and that's one area I would just like to highlight. Since you interface with the markets, you interface with the customers, if that market intelligence, the feedback could travel to the ministry, travel to the states quickly as to what is happening and how could ministry's policy respond to that change. Obviously, we have our own way of analysis, data collection, interpretation, but it cannot match what you can bring to the table. I mean, given that you are the ones who have the primary interface. So that could really help us within the ministry, and I'm sure all states, to really respond to that challenge and strengthen support for you.
So what you're saying is you want to get the market information from the tour operators.
So, you know, if you're finding that in a particular market there is a new trend emerging, or there is a new apprehension, or there is a new perception, whatever it is, that analysis aggregated by Iato, if it could travel to us month on month, that this is happening in this market, this is the signal you've got, we share with you. I mean, we get data from immigration, we get data from our embassies, so we share from whatever we get, that this is the business intelligence, this is the market intelligence,
fair enough,
which may help you, and also your feedback, so that, you know, we're just not sitting idle or maintaining the status quo, but responding to the challenges proactively.
Sir, may I come back to you? Sure. I'm going to come back to you. Sorry, I'm not trying to stop you, but because I need to go to others and I want to really come back to you on this. I'm going to go to Mukesh Meshamji. You're sitting. So, Mukeshji, I really want to come back to you. In the last few years, we have seen that UP has actually, if I may say that, has repositioned itself very, very differently today. In fact, if I can say, safely can say, you're the biggest market for all the overseas NRI people who are staying there. They like to look at your market and your state and come over here. Now, the point is, if they're going to come, and the tour operators who are sitting here with us, have you ever thought, what are your reaction and how do you want to reach them through the tour operators here? How will you, what are you planning to do that these tour operators should do? How are you helping them, assisting them? Are you working with them to really take this forward and get the foreigners coming into India?
Yeah, good morning. Uttar Pradesh is emerging big market for tourists. See, I visited Loch Ness in UK, and the stories of Loch Ness monster. It's very small village, but telling the story of Loch Ness monster, that country is doing business in a very big way. Here in Uttar Pradesh, every nook and corner, every village, we are full of stories. Not just only Ayodhya, nearby, where Rajasuy Yagya was performed by Raja Dashrath, Makhoda Dham is there. We have Panchkoshi Parikrama, 14 Koshi Parikrama, 84 Koshi Parikrama Marg. We have Naimisharanya, it's nearby, just 60-70 kilometers away from Lucknow. Naimisharanya is the place where 84,000 sages, rishis, munis, they actually wrote Vedas, they actually perform different kind of rituals. So all around there is Ram Vangaman Path, we have Braj, Tirth area, Mathura, Vrindavan, Gokul, Barsana, Nandgaon, everything related to the life of Lord Krishna. We have Buddha, 27 years of his youthful life he spent in Kapilvastu. We have Sarnath, Sankissa, Kaushambi, and Kushinagar, where he breathed his last, Mahaparinirvana. And we have the largest stretch of river Ganges flowing through UP, starting from Bijnor to Balia. So there is lot of destinations to showcase. We are in fact developing all the destinations. We have identified 5,000 such places in our state, out of which 750 we have already started developing infrastructure. We have completed in the last 5-6 years lot of infrastructure in all these tourism destinations. So we are ready. You people, you guys are सारथी. आप कृष्ण है जो पूरी की पूरी गीता सुना करके लोगों को बता सकते हैं कि उनको क्या देखना चाहिए, कहां देखना चाहिए, कैसे देखना चाहिए. हम तैयार हैं इस पूरे के पूरे मैदान में अपने लाव लश्कर के साथ में, सारे साजो सामान के साथ में और सारे तैयारी के साथ में. नाउ ऑल द टूर ऑपरेटर्स, travel operators, I request all of you to just guide us, and for that you will have to tailor-make the packages as per the requirement of the tourist. Inbound tourism, certainly, जो बाहर के आदमी है, there are lot of NRIs, there are lot of Indian origin citizens. In जैसे साउथ अफ्रीका के साथ में, when we were interacting with the people over there of Indian origin, young बच्चे जो हैं, उनको जब हमने अपनी फिल्म दिखाई, यूपी शोकेस करना चालू किया, so they were astonished to see कि इतनी सारी चीजें हैं. उनमें से 90% ने विजिट ही नहीं किया इंडिया. They just wanted to visit कि साहब हमारे परदादा यहाँ आए थे साउथ अफ्रीका में, वो कहानियां बता रहे हैं, वो किस्से बता रहे हैं, वो सुना रहे हैं कि हम ऐसे थे, ऐसे रहते थे, हमारा देश ऐसा था. अब हम जाना चाहते हैं, देखना चाहते हैं. तो देयर इज अ बिग मार्केट. सबसे पहले तो यही लोग हम लोग लेकर के आ सकते हैं. हमने वी इंटरेक्टेड विद यूके बेस्ड, यूएस बेस्ड, ऑस्ट्रेलियन, उनमें बहुत सारे लोग हैं. एंड देन
सर एक चीज सॉरी, आपने साथी तो बना दिया. I really appreciate that word. I think that is fantastic. Please get your applaud for yourself. I think he's put you all as Krishna's level. Come on, that's fantastic. But sir, एक इसके साथ में आपने बोल दिया, एक क्वेश्चन इसमें राइज करता है. सर, ले तो आए फॉरेन टूरिस्ट या एनआरआईज को लेके आए, पर जैसे अब बुकिंग्स के अंदर प्रायोरिटी चाहिए, ट्रेन में आपको सीट नहीं मिल रही है, आपको लाइनों में लगना पड़ता है, इसके लिए कुछ आप इनकी मदद कर सकते हैं?
या बिल्कुल, whatever your suggestions would be, we will certainly do it. And मैंने पहले ही कहा कि seeing is believing. How UP has transformed in terms of tourism development or infrastructure development. First of all, everyone who likes to visit our destinations, they are most welcome round the year. Whenever you want to come over to UP, just write to us. In addition to this convention, we will welcome you anytime, anywhere.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Seeing is believing, जैसे मैंने कहा, फैम टूर हम ऑर्गेनाइज करेंगे. फर्स्ट विजिट ऑल दिस प्लेसेस, देन यू प्रिपेयर योरसेल्फ कि यस, देयर इज पोटेंशियल, इमेंस पोटेंशियल इन यूपी, and whatever requirements you want for the inbound tourist, we are ready to provide it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'll come back to you. Thank you very much. I'm going to now something which is called Hindustan ka dil. वो सब जानते हैं. शुक्ला जी, मैं आपके पास आ रहा हूँ. My point basically is, sir, you have created one of the best and the most popular thing which everybody, all of us remember as far as domestic tourism is concerned. But when it comes to foreign tourists, what are you looking at doing? And most important, how are you working with the tour operators? They really, because Madhya Pradesh is big, it's got a lot of things to offer. I'm not debating that. But I'm saying, how are you facilitating them? आप क्या क्या कर रहे हैं कि इनके they should not then say, rather than going somewhere else, you bring them to UP. What are your thoughts on that?
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Iato, for bringing us all together. And I think this is second convention post-pandemic, and this is a great opportunity for all of us to sit together and, apply our minds. And this inbound tourism, of course, is a very serious business. It is easier said than done. So we in Madhya Pradesh are very consciously working towards a very well-chartered roadmap, which is multi-pronged, multifaceted roadmap. So the first of all, we need to understand the international market, their needs, their priorities. Especially post-pandemic, there's been a paradigm shift. Now people are looking for different kind of products, different kind of experiential, itineraries. So we need to figure out that depending on the source country, what is that we need to offer them. So that market assessment is very important, and then positioning ourselves into that mold and branding ourselves to satisfy the demand. And in this entire endeavor, the inbound tour agents and tour operators are the major players in bridging the gap. So since you have asked the question that how we are trying to work with the tour operators, there are many ways we are doing it. First of all, for inbound tourism, we feel that our international presence is very important in international events and exhibitions. So we make sure that Madhya Pradesh is well represented there. And we also take with us, as a part of our delegation, all the private stakeholders who are doing business with us in Madhya Pradesh, whether they belong to Madhya Pradesh or they are from outside. Those who are marketing Madhya Pradesh, we offer them MDA and we give them incentives to be a part of our delegation, our stands, our pavilion over there. We also, we do some kind of recce with our international partners to filter out the right kind of tour operators who are working in other countries, who are selling India, who are selling Madhya Pradesh. And we filter out the right ones and we have one-on-one sessions with them. We also make our team, which comprises of other stakeholders, to have an interaction with them. And we motivate the outbound travel agents of those countries to include Madhya Pradesh in their brochure.
Sir, if I get you correct, what you're saying is when you do a road show or when you're participating in international exhibitions, any of the tour operators, immaterial them from Madhya Pradesh or not, can participate with you in your booth and on the road show. And they can claim the MDA scheme which you as Madhya Pradesh is offering them.
Absolutely. This is what I'm saying. Until you are there, we are not going to complete the chain. We can always do the other part. We need to understand the necessities, understand the gaps, whether these are related to infra or human resource or whatever is required to promote inbound tourism in the state, positioning of the state in terms of the requirement of those source market countries, but then the gap has to be filled up by people like you. So we are offering with open heart, anyone who wants to be part of MP's delegation, and people have been participating from the state, from outside the state, who want to sell Madhya Pradesh, be a part of our delegation. They're most welcome.
So they can reach out to you if they were doing that.
Absolutely.
All right.
In fact, we very transparently bring out this thing in the newspapers also. Anyone who wants to be part of delegation can apply. There's a format. We select, of course, we do some due diligence. We want to take genuine people with us. And then they are most welcome to be a part of our delegation. And we also offer brochure program for them as well. Whatever material they are bringing out over there in international events, we offer financial assistance for that also.
Thank you. Shukla sir, thank you very much. I'll come back to you again because I still have one more question, but let me go through a panelist first. Okay, Sachinji, I'm coming to you now. Odisha is right next to there. We really want to, if I may say this, if I can say this, I personally feel, as a personal thing, I feel you all are late entrant into tourism as far as international tourism is concerned. What are your thoughts? Because the point is you have a huge coastal belt, you have a lot of things to showcase, which a lot of people know of. What are you doing now for the tour operators so that they actually put Odisha on the world map and say, okay, now Indian tourists have to come into Odisha? That's what are you doing for that?
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. At the outset, I express my gratitude from the state of Odisha for having invited Odisha state on this dais. It's a great learning experience for a bureaucrat like me. We officers, we stay and go, but you are here. You have dedicated your life to this industry, and there is a lot to learn from you through formal as well as informal discussions. So thank you very much. As for your comment on the late entrant, I would like to take it with a pinch of salt, and I would take it as a left-hand compliment, in a sense that you have recognized that Odisha is on the scene. About 20-25 years ago, what was Odisha in news for? Super cyclones, starvation deaths, natural disasters. And today, what Odisha is in news for? Sponsorship of hockey team, India, hosting consequent 2 hockey World Cups, emerging sports capital of the country, and an international tourist destination, as you have rightly observed. So through the years, if you see the budget allocation of the state of Odisha for tourism, 2018, it was 80 crore rupees. 2022-23, I have just completed that exercise of proposed budget for next year, 23-24. That budget outlay that we have given is for 600 crore rupees.
Great.
700% jump. Over last 3 consecutive years, I have been working as Director Tourism Odisha. I was never busy in my life before. So many things to do. Why? Because of the learnings that the government has made over the years. Coming back to the remark, late entrant, Odisha was one of the first states in the country that started Tourism Development Corporations. In 1960s, Odisha Tourism Development Corporation was established. It had 20 hotels back then. In a state which had little business enterprises, especially in hospitality sector. At that time, the state initiated these hotels, a chain named Pantha Nivas. 30 wayside amenities were created. Over the years, and this time has come now that the private entrepreneurs have been matured, and we are leasing out these properties to private enterprises to run on their own because the sector is matured. In my audience, I see Mr. Raj Singh here. We have handed over 4 of our catamarans that were run by the state to them to develop. We encourage the private investors. Now the core question, what is the role of tour operators here? Over the years we have learned, every government has learned, that there are 3 aspects of tourism industry that cannot be separated from each other. The Principal Secretary, Sir, Uttar Pradesh, yesterday and today also, he highlighted the importance of storytelling, the narratives. Uttar Pradesh has so many stories to tell. He highlighted the aspects of monitoring, this marketing. I would add to that, in continuation to that, there are 3 sectors. Number 1 is infrastructure. Number 2 is promotion. Promotion means advertisement, sales, marketing. And number 3 is incentivizing the investment to the state. If any of these 3 components is absent in tourism sector is bound to fail. It will never grow. And this tour operator's role is in each of these 3. If I count infrastructure, for example, infrastructure, what kind of infrastructure? The infrastructure that can enhance the stories, that can engage a tourist to that particular place. We have 480-kilometer long stretch of sea coast, numerous scenic beaches. What use are they if the tourist cannot enjoy that beach? If he cannot stay there for more than 15 minutes? I have a very scenic beach in Puri, for example, Golden Beach. What a tourist will go there and do if there is no infrastructure there? Adequate infrastructure was made so that this beach was identified as one of the first 8 blue flag beaches in the country. Now a tour operator has a story to sell. This contributes to this kind of infrastructure. Promenade developments, science parks, museums. These are the infrastructure where the tour operators have direct and indirect role to play to tell their stories. Promotion. How will a promotion happen without tour operators? Who are tour operators? What is this industry? Meshram sir called you Sarthi. I would add to that, if the blood circulation system of our body it stops even for fraction of second, we will not survive. Tour operators are the circulation system of the blood of the economy of the country. This tourism promotion cannot happen unless you tell the stories and you sell the stories. The hotels will not run unless you transport the people to those countries. Economy runs because of the promotion done by the tour operators. And in this regard, our Odisha tourism policy, this is a revised tourism policy 2022. This is third edition of our policy. First policy, it came out in 2013, second in 2016, and now 2022. Last month, we had Make in Odisha Conclave. Herein, we inaugurated this policy. Here, we have certain direct and indirect incentives to tour operators. Directly answering the question, I will just wind up by saying this thing. The incentives under this new tourism policy is, again, on the same lines as Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh.
Sir, just bring your mic a little closer to you, sir.
50% of reimbursement of financial expenses incurred, that is space, rent, travel, for participating in overseas tourism events.
This is for everybody or only those registered with?
Those registered in the state. Now I am coming to next. Additional reimbursement of travel expenses for 4 more overseas events for service providers approved by Ministry of Tourism in the state.
Okay, in the state. Okay.
And we have given a ceiling of 2.5 lakh rupees per annum, which is subject to increase. And non-financial incentives like familiarization tours, training. Only last month we concluded 4th edition of Odisha Travel Bazaar. It was a platform for tour operators. More than 100 tour operators, 85 from within the country and 20 from outside 7 countries, they were invited. The entire dais decision making was given to the stakeholders. We remained as backstage operators as far as this Odisha Travel Bazaar is concerned. And we intend to continue this practice in years to come. We have a flagship program of eco-retreats. For this also, we are planning familiarization tours. And in this platform, I invite all the tour operators to visit Odisha at least once. There are 7 eco-retreat flagship products. Do come and do visit Odisha. I hope I have answered that.
Absolutely. But my request, I did know that you had 700 crores for the next year proposed. Keep a portion of that for the tour operators. Their incentives, because they are the ones who are going to get the international tourists to you. That's the way I look at it. Okay, friends, I'm going to move on. I think I'm going to move on. President Sahab, आपका last आऊँगा मैं. I'm going to come to Abhay Sila. He is actually, every product in this country has an export promotion council. And today, if I can safely say, the service industry also now has the Export Promotion Council. Abhay, I really want to say that you represent actually the fastest growing segment in the world, as well as service industry is concerned. And because I personally feel it's got a human touch, it is very special. It's not something which you can do manufacturing and do that. Recently, I know you came forward to participate in WTM when MOT was taking time, hadn't decided about it, though later on they participated in it. Now, I want to really ask you that you participated. There were a lot of tour operators who came and participated with you on that. I want you to explain to all of us, how are you different, or what things do you do differently, what the Ministry of Tourism is already not doing? Sorry, Balaji is sitting here, I'm not saying anything to him. But I really want to look, as an Export Promotion Council, how are you different? What are you going to do different for us?
Thank you, Sanjeet. Good morning, everyone, and thanks to the distinguished panels for their valuable inputs. And I'll take it forward from the word what Vishram sir mentioned. Sarthi, aap logo ko bataya hai. We are Sathi of the Sarthi. So SEPC is there for the tour operators and as a kind of platform for everyone, like all the states, Ministry of Tourism, Ministry of Commerce, with a mandate to promote inbound tourism. And that's where, I feel, you gave the example of WTM. I think it was not that we went ahead as Ministry of Tourism took time. No, I think there are some procedural issues which we are trying to actually synchronize, build a better synergy. And we are actually the platform where we would like India to be seen as one, the state effort, storytelling, for example, bringing the perceptual changes in the minds of the tourists who would be having India on their mental map, whether we are able to bring it or not. So there SEPC plays a very, very significant role. There are lots of events and activities which we are planning together with Ministry of Tourism. with support from Ministry of Tourism, definitely, with a funding support, partial funding support from Ministry of Commerce and Industry. At the same time, we are also looking forward to, take the stories of the states. In whatever activities we do, we present their India as one story with many sub-stories to be told.
No, but this is all what the ministry is already doing.
Exactly. Yeah. But at the same time, when we say, for example, WTM experience, we were there. We had different states participating at the same time. We had WTM in Minister Tourism Pavilion. We had SEPC Pavilion. We all were talking about one goal, one objective. I think better synergy can be evolved. And at the end of the day, since the sector had gone through, one of the toughest time in terms of the COVID challenges, there also, everybody used to look at SEPC only as a gateway for ACIS. So I mentioned that about, there is a tourism value chain. Look up to us from that perspective. Okay. Incentives have a very short self-life. They can change. So the form will change. There will be something more to come. The states are definitely working. Ministry of Commerce is also working on something beyond SEIS. Every state is also giving some incentives to the tour operators in terms of MAI, MDA, whatever terminology we use. The Ministry of Commerce is also in the process of revising its existing MAI guidelines. We would welcome the suggestions. So look up to us as a platform for trade intelligence, where we talk about the market, export development, where we can synergize the efforts, export promotion, and definitely enabling business environment.
Abhay, hold on to that thought, because I want to come back to you, because I need to go ahead first, because I think this point which you mentioned about Ministry of Commerce and the promotions and stuff like that, I think incentives, I'd like to come back to you on that. Now, actually, I need to go to our President Mehra Sahab. I'm sorry, late to you, but आपने सुन लिया, आप दिल भी हो गए, आप सारथी भी बन गए, आप blood vessels भी बन गए, आप सब तरीके से हो गए आप. Now, my point to you, as store operator's point of view, honestly, you got hurting. What do you really want from them? Be specific. Don't say कि ये कर दो वो कर दो. Be very specific कि ये हमें 4 चीजें चाहिए या 2 चीज चाहिए या 6 चीज चाहिए. Taxes छोड़ दो, वह उसके बारे में नहीं बोल रहा अभी. But आप उसको बोलो, that will translate that कि I'll get you the number of tourists which you are looking at. So.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Morning, everyone. Morning to all the panelists sitting on the dais. The point of view as far as tour operators is concerned, we are still getting over the pandemic at the moment. Although the hotels have already come out, but we have not. Inbound is still about 20-25%, mostly coming to about 1/3 of what we used to do in 2019-20. Now, what our request, Mr. Verma is here, has been that the most important thing is overseas promotions, which is not there at all. With the efforts of Mr. Verma and Mr. Arvind Singh, we did get the WTM pavilion, and both of these officers have been trying, and they have succeeded in taking us to Fitur and ITB. Now, yesterday also I was talking with Mr. Arvind Singh that those who have applied for MDA, for WTM, they have still not heard anything from them. Whereas I was promised, and I had promised my friends in the trade, the government will give you whatever it is, otherwise I'll fund you from my pocket. So I think the time is coming that I might have to fund out something from my pocket. So the reason is that I told Mr. Arvind Singh yesterday also. Mehra sir, I'm sure कोई government आपको करने नहीं देगा, but thank you for that gesture. I think that's something wonderful. Verma ji बैठे, we'll ask him after this. Similarly, we have asked them for the MDA for Fitur as well as for ITB also. So this is first thing which we want, and next step would be road shows abroad. We have to start off with almost a decision being taken to close the Indian officers, tourist offices abroad. We have to start road shows. I have no idea how much they would be able to contribute. I will not name a country whose ambassador had called me up giving us 3 days notice to send a delegation to that country. They'll do everything. I said, how you expect me to send people for 3 days? This is not a taxi stand. नहीं आप इकट्ठे कर लो, मैं कहाँ से इकट्ठे कर लूँ यार? So we have to have time. We have to organize in such a fashion that it's a win-win situation for everyone. That is what is required. Taxes and everything will come, but these things need to be done ASAP.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. My panelists, I'm coming to the last questions, but actually we are running short of time, so I'm going to ask you to do it quickly. And of course, Verma ji, you're on the spot. You're sitting in the shelter, you're on the spot, if I may say that. But I really want to ask you a quick question, what Behra Sahab also said, but I want to add 2 really points onto that. See, sir, the international promotions, if you do it without the tour operators, it is like I say, cooking food without the fire. So that's not going to happen because they are the ones who are going to translate things for you. So have you, 2 questions. Hey, have you ever thought about taking these tour operators with you and not charging them any money at all, participating in roadshow or participating in exhibitions and all that? That's one point which I want to ask you. Second thing which you're also doing, you're doing so much of promotion with G20 all across the world. People are talking about it. Now, do you have a mechanism that when you do overseas promotions and all that, with international tour operators, do you ever check, are they dealing with a recognized tour operator in India? Are they dealing with an Iato member? Is there any policy of this kind which is going to happen? So these are 2 questions, but sir, quickly, because I know the audience wants to ask you a lot of questions, so that's why I'm doing it a little quick. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. First, to respond to what President just said, I think there is a bit of a problem in our scheme, but we have sorted it out. Almost we are there. So the Fitur and ITB and the New Year's campaign, we should be able to get our scheme in place. All MDA and participation of tour operators, all those teething problems will be sorted out. It will also give us flexibility to think of new ideas for implementation. We have been doing this traditional MDA thing for long. So what ministry has now proposed is, and we have shared with Iato and other industry members, a national tourism board, and with flexibility and operational autonomy to partner with industry, partner with the states, to have a dedicated marketing and promotion campaign. So that should...
Sir, can you be a little louder, sir, because I think people can't hear you at the back. So
I'm saying the Ministry of Tourism has worked out a plan to set up a national tourism board, which will have funding from the ministry, which will have operational autonomy, and this board will work with industry and with the state governments, state tourism boards, to have a dedicated marketing and promotion for Incredible India. So that should give a flexibility to think of new ideas, new schemes, and whatever way we can support the industry. Of the immediate problem, like you said, WTM, we were able to give rent free of charge accommodation to whatever industry players attended that. MDA, we promise we'll get it sorted out. For ITB and Fitur, we have already taken approval, so MDA will be available, whosoever is participating. The only issue you said free of charge, like Mr. Shukla was saying, maybe, if you pay a small fee, you're more serious about it. So that's the only concern. It's not about to burden the industry. So just to find out, who's genuinely interested, who needs this, that is the only concern. Otherwise, we'll be supporting to the maximum for participation of...
Sir, I want to ask you, so Ministry of Tourism approves the tour operators. आप उनको approve करते हो. So can you limit it to those people only?
Yes, but I'm saying, let's say, if you have to take 40 travel trade partners to WTM London, idea should be the ones who are serious about it, ones who would be effective, ones who are focused on that market. So that's the only thing. I don't think there's any big challenge. We don't want to earn money out of it, and the ministry should spend money on setting up the pavilion, taking the tour operators together and showcasing them. So that's the third issue you talked about. Is there any mechanism for verifying whether the foreign tour operator is working with recognized tour operator? As of now, explicitly no, but yes, going forward, we should think about it and set up some mechanism so that, the tour operators who are approved here, who are working hard and, working as per the guidelines, they should be the one and preferred choice for the foreign tour operators to partner. Thank you.
Sir, now sir has agreed for everything, so you really need to do that. Wonderful. Now I'm going to come to the Sarthi. Sir, आपने तो यूपी को आपने टूर ऑपरेटर को सारथी बनाई दिया है. So I thought let me ask you, sir. आपने कहा इनको आप हेल्प करेंगे, एजुकेट करेंगे, सब कुछ करेंगे. इंटरनेशनल इंसेंटिव्स के लिए जैसे आप सर बोल रहे हैं, आप जब यूपी का पवेलियन वगैरह लेंगे, will you offer them the same space to anybody or only free of charge for let's say only people who are registered in UP and all that? But some tour operators have told me that they're going to set up offices over here, basically to take incentive of what you offer. But is it going to be for everybody or only for people in UP?
Those who will help us out in
Promoting,
marketing, promoting and branding UP, everybody will get that benefit. That we will make sure under our policy, because we are framing the guidelines and rules. So policy is out. So in the guidelines we will mention it that UP tourism stalls, if somebody is associating with that or promoting UP, then they will be benefited out of it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So now you have seen what's basically happening. So next time you can go in the UP pavilion at the international fairs and participate with them. That's what's possible. Fantastic. Now I'm going to come to Shuklaji. I'm going to come to you. Basically, if I'm going to say, you mentioned the right things that you want to work with tour operators, but a lot of tour operators, if I'm not wrong, don't exactly have a itinerary only for Madhya Pradesh kind of situation. So what are you looking at doing them? Are you training them? Are you doing itinerary training with them? Are you showing them? Or what are you trying to do for incentivizing them?
Thank you for asking that question. In fact, मैं सारथियों से कहना चाहता हूं थोड़ा उसके पहले कि ये सारथियों का रथ गोल्डन ट्रायंगल में क्यों फंसा हुआ है. भैया थोड़ा बाहर निकलो. गोल्डन ट्रायंगल से इसको रेक्टेंगल बनाओ, रेक्टेंगल से आर्क बनाओ, आर्क से सर्कल बनाओ. इतना कुछ पड़ा हुआ है हमारे देश में. हम बगल में बैठे हुए हैं, दिल्ली आगरा घुमा के लौटा देते हो आप लोग. व्हाट इज दैट? हम इतना, आप हमसे पूछ रहे हो आप क्या कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हो, हम जान लगा दे रहे. अरे आप भी तो अपने रथ को थोड़ा आगे बढ़ाओ भाई. So, but nevertheless, we also have a very concrete action plan to work with the TOs. We already are having a number of training programs whenever we go to national exhibitions and tourism events or to our source market states. We do conduct a physical training program for the tour operators where we give them the entire information and educate them about the tourism and cultural offerings of Madhya Pradesh. At the end of the day, we also give them a certificate, etc. But now we are escalating it to the next level. We are going to have online training module placed in our website where any national and international tour operators can go through that module, keep on learning about Madhya Pradesh, educating oneself, and then, escalating the ladder. Every time he goes through a particular module and passes that test, he is promoted to the next module. 8 modules will be there, covering the entire spectrum of tourism offerings of Madhya Pradesh. And at the end of passing every module, he gets a certificate which is downloadable. So that kind of an online...
Sir, who do these incentive? Will you incentivize them who do this training with you?
No, this will be online available for everyone. Anybody can do it, and just keep on educating oneself.
Okay, I'm leaving this with your thought with you, sir. Different countries in the world, if you become that specialist, they offer you a lot of things in return. Just leaving a thought with you. I'm not going to take this forward, but I'm going to leave that, okay. I'm moving on, sir. I'm going to come to Sachin, sir. I know we are really running short of time. Sir, there's one thing which I learned from in Odisha, and this is when I went for the first time. We talk about what I call as turtle breeding, basically. And turtle breedings are done from a tourism aspect only in about 4 countries in the world. One is Orissa, one is Oman, I know one is Brazil. What happens is the turtles, I learned it in Orissa, that wherever they lay the eggs or wherever they're born, they come back and lay their eggs again there. Now I can give you the example of Oman where this turtle breeding takes place, and thousands of foreigners come there early in the morning at 4 o'clock to see how they hatch, how they actually find their way to the sea and everything. You are sitting on a gold mine as far as that is concerned. What are we doing to explore that and exploit that, sir?
Yeah. It's a pleasant surprise that somebody is talking of olive ridley turtles of Odisha. Seriously. Because to popularize this, can you see this? This is Oli. This is the official mascot of Hockey World Cup. It's olive ridley turtle. I hope you were able to see. And can you see this? This is Odisha's logo, Odisha Tourism's logo. In the corner, there is a circle. At the center, there is wheel of Konark. And there are 4 corners representing. One is hockey, another is Sri Mandir of Lord Jagannath, third is Odissi classical dance, and fourth, can you see? It is turtle. It is an olive ridley turtle. So I am happy that you mentioned this particular thing. Odisha recognizes the importance of this natural heritage that it possesses. There are only 3 breeding sites in the world for olive ridley turtles, and technically speaking 2 sites in Odisha. One is Gahir Matha near Bhitarkanika, which is an extended part of Sundarbans of West Bengal, and another is the mouth of Rishikulya river in Ganjam district in South Odisha. So as you rightly mentioned, hundreds of foreign tourists, apart from domestic tourists and nature lovers, they flock to see this breeding. And it's not in isolation. These tourists also come to witness the migration of birds to Chilka. Chilka is home to migratory birds. More than 350 species, they migrate from 11 countries across the world to this place. They stay here for 4 to 5 months before they return to their original countries. We have Chilka Bird Festival. We call it National Bird Festival. Soon going to be expanded to International Bird Festival every year. It uses to be held for 3 days every year. Next year onwards, we plan to extend it for 1 month, which will include this breeding, witnessing breeding, etc. because these times they coincide. Having said that, I would say that this issue cannot be seen in isolation. Bringing foreign tourists to the state, they will not just come to see turtles, right? They will come, they will spend some nights. The average night stay of foreign tourists in the country, the highest is recorded in Rajasthan and the so-called Golden Triangle, where they stay for 28 or more days. In Odisha, how many days they stay? They stay not more than 3 nights, the average night stay of foreign tourists. So we aim to increase this night stay. As I said, the 3-pronged strategy of infrastructure development, promotion, and attracting investment. And with that thing in mind, we have a 10 years ecotourism roadmap commission, which was published during our Odisha Make in Odisha conclave. Apart from that, 3 master plans centered around these 3 natural sites of Tampara, the one of the place of olive ridley breeding place. Second is Bhitarkanika, the second place, and third is Chilka. These 3 master plans. Of this, Bhitarkanika master plans is already under execution. The first phase will be completed by November 2023. Chilka concept has been approved. It is in the offing. And Tampara, again, the execution will start shortly. So with these 3-pronged strategies.
I hope all the 700 crores doesn't go into this development. You keep some for them also.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, I'm moving ahead. Actually, I'm just going to give you, Abhay, I'm coming to you, I'm going to be giving you 2 minutes to answer. You're the Export Promotion Council, you said yourself, for tourism kind of situation. Can you tell me what, as an Export Promotion Council, as a tour operator, can expect from you, which is not linked to finances? Har cheez ke liye aap jo karte ho, ji paisa do. Can you do anything for me for promotion of international tourism, which is without money also?
Thank you for asking this. In fact, that's the perception we want to change. So we can make a huge percentual difference when we talk about market promotion, as Rajiv Mehra mentioned just a while. And everyone sitting over here has that one common objective. So SCPC can play a very, very key role in making this happen. Going forward, like we were talking about WTM, I must mention that we are definitely anchoring along with the Ministry of Tourism for FITUR and this ITB. And we will be having a number of road shows. So there will be incentives and some support from the Ministry of Commerce as well as the Ministry of Tourism that we can bring out, as an integral part of those promotional effort. There is, as I mentioned, you need to tell us, give the feedback for a foreign trade policy which can take care of expected incentive moving beyond SCIS. I have last 2 suggestions. We have actually entered into a digital, world. Now, even we talk about the promotion and everything, we need to have a very, very digitized and immersive environment. When we talk about market promotion or, all those heritage sites, how can you bring that, before they visit, how can you make them live with that kind of experience, and so that they can plan, they can include those sites in their itinerary. So in what way we are going to create those promotional content, that is very important. Market analysis is very important. So two things on this. We need to develop the analytics, tourist analytics. There are countries which are doing, and tourist information hub. So with Ministry of Tourism and with other state tourism boards, we would like to play a very, very key role in putting this together.
Abhay, before you finish, Ministry of Commerce, you said, I'm asking you, you just saw 2,11,000 crores is the money you kind of, can't you put 10% of that for the council and give it for the
That is definitely one expectation. I think it should be treated as an investment. So I would request policymakers to think about it.
Export Promote Council is you, well, giving that to you. I won't take it more. Mehra Saab, last question to you. हमने सबसे देख लिया कि this is what we want from everybody, right? हमें ये चाहिए, marketing चाहिए, ये सब करना, मैं सबकी बात मान गया. I'm asking you as the president of the tour operator, sir, what is the commitment would you as tour operators make to all of them to say कि अगर हमारे लिए करोगे तो हम ये करके देंगे, because it can't be a one-way street. It has to be two ways. So what are your thoughts about that?
Definitely, as one of the panelists said, that when the government is contributing for anything, the tour operators are also sending money from their pocket also. Those who are serious and spending money from their pocket will definitely try and get business for the country, for his company, and for the states where they are. So the commitment is that, rightly said, we do not want everything free. MDA is 90%, 10% is from the pocket, and there is a limit to it. Apart from that, whenever you go out, you have other expenses to be done. So once, if the government is giving me 3 lakh rupees, and I am spending 3 lakh rupees from my pocket, that means that I am committed, that I want business to come to this country. I am not going there for holiday. So everyone has to understand that in the government, that we are not going there for a holiday, we are going there for business, and we will get a business. That is a commitment for what we are going there.
So if you applaud for Mr. Mehra, I think that's something which is good. But if you go through UP or you go for Madhya Pradesh or Orissa, you will promote those states. That's what
definitely will do that. Like we have 2 great principal secretaries, Mr. Meshramji and Mr. Shukla here from these 2 states. And today I am very impressed with the Director of Tourism Orissa, Sachinji, like the way he's been talking about. Really impressed with him, and I think everyone here would have been impressed by his talks also. So these governments are really serious about tourism, totally. And our Ministry of Tourism is also serious, but they have problems with the funds, which Mr. Verma and Mr. Arvind Singh has almost overcome that now, and things should be all right. And our commitment, everyone, when we go out, we mean business, nothing else.
Thank you, thank you. Can I have a big round of applause for the gentlemen? I think these have been really, really interesting and all that. I know a lot of you have actually sent me messages saying you want questions. I don't have time, I'm running short of time. Can we take 2 questions? Can we have somebody come on the top, in the center? If you have a question, please come up. Come right here on the top. The mic is right there, so please, sir, you can go there. Yeah, please go there. Najib, if you go there, yeah, please. Please, no observations, only a question, and tell me who it is directed to. That's it. Small question, please.
Question to Rakesh Verma-ji. We have been sitting with the draft tourism policy for the last 2 years. It's an excellent policy prepared by government in consultation with the tourism stakeholders and others. But when are you going to finalize it and publish it and go with the actions of that report? Thank you.
We've completed the consultation part, and our final approval from the ministry side has also been given, so it's any day it can come in the cabinet and get the final approval. Our target was the budget session, so maybe another 2 months and we should be out with the final policy.
Thank you, sir. Sir.
Sir, good morning. My name is Rajesh. It is to Mr. Verma. Sir, जो Hindustan का the total business, the foreign incoming tourists is coming in, more than 60% is brought in by the small tour operators. And I really don't understand what was the logic behind to discontinue MDA assistance for small tour operators. Those who are really working hard and adding to the GDP of this country, they नीचे से ऊपर से कट ऑफ तो सुनने में आया था, नीचे का कट ऑफ मेरी जिंदगी में 45 साल में पहली बार आया. This is what I would like.
Thank you for your question, sir.
So I think that anyway MDA policy will be over. What we are proposing as our new marketing strategy. So you will have a new incentive policy, new guidelines. So I'm sure we'll discuss with you again, and we'll not put any such barriers which might be there in the previous.
Thank you. Okay, friends, we are really out of time, but those people who are standing here, 5 of you, can you give your questions first and let the panel answer them? After that, there are no more questions. Please, go ahead.
Can I just add one point?
Thank you. Sure. Yeah, just a minute.
With
Yes.
your permission. In fact, for MSMEs, those who are having a turnover less than 50 crore, incentives in form of MEI or MDA is also available from Ministry of Commerce as well. So, players, the tour operators having lesser exports can actually benefit from that also. And there is also a revision going ahead, and maybe in line with the, overall objective, we can synergize.
Mudgal Sahib, you can catch hold of him now for all the money you require. That's what it is. Thank you, Abhay. Please, just give your questions, please, and your name and questions first, please.
Well, I have a few questions which I think are very important to ask this August panelist. Number one, sir, very important person that we have missed on this whole supply chain is the FTO, the foreign tour operator. None of you have dwelled on the part, how are you going to support the FTO, because we work as a partner for the FTO. Number two, every state government goes to all these international fairs and wants to meet an FTO. Sir, have you thought what does an FTO feel, or how does an FTO feel when 10 different states of India want to go and see him after the fair or before the fair? Sir, it's not possible. They just get puzzled.
Sir, question point taken. The next question,
there
sir.
should be a way out.
Okay.
There should be a way out to sort this out and streamline it. Maybe the states can decide, one state will go to Scandinavia, the other will go to Germany, the third will go to France, and henceforth.
Sir, आपने तो solution भी दे दिया, sir. Question बताओ, मुझे लेते वाल, sir.
This is very important. Third is, sir, आपने पूछा Shukla साहब ने कि why don't we leave the Golden Triangle and come to Madhya Pradesh? Sir, it's the ease of logistics, because when we host a fam trip, it is on a cost-sharing basis. Sir, हम लोगों के लिए transport from Delhi is the cheapest. And after doing the Delhi Golden Triangle, because the hotels also cooperate, the moment you want to come to Madhya Pradesh, there is an additional airfare included. There is additional transport which is included. So
Gosa, point taken. Now, please, we will get an answer for you. We'll get an answer quickly. Your name and then your please question.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Dimple Singh. I'm from Creative Travel Delhi. I had just one question which is very, very important and relevant. Post-pandemic, every country is doing some sort of a promotion globally. India is a country of 1.4 billion smiles. India is a story which needs to be told to the world. And unfortunately, we are not doing anything. And I think it's the right time we must act together and do something. Thank you.
Nimble, that was a suggestion, not a question, but anyway, I'll get somebody to answer that. Go ahead.
Hello. Sir, I am Rajesh from Holiday Mechanic. We are Odisha DMC. We are promoting Odisha from last 5 or 6 years. But one challenge we facing, Odisha Tourist Department, we not authorized as an authorized travel agent. Because I am promoting Odisha with 20 plus manpower from Delhi office. They said, you are outsider, treat us like a Pakistani. Sorry, sir.
No, let's not get that way, but please, question taken. Thank you. Please.
Sir, मेरा बहुत छोटा 2 क्वेश्चन है, मुकेश मेश्राम सर से है.
Sir, आपका नाम पहले, sir, please. Sir, आपका नाम, please. First name.
मेरा नाम सुशील कुमार सिंह है, मैं जातक ट्रेवल वाराणसी से हूँ. हम लोग जो बसें सारथी जो रथ लेके जाता है सर, कहीं भी प्रॉपर पार्किंग की व्यवस्था नहीं है सर, न अयोध्या में, न प्रयागराज में, न वाराणसी में। अब पुलिस द्वारा लगातार हरासमेंट हो रहा है, इसके लिए जो भी कर सकते हैं सर, बड़ी मेहरबानी होगी। एक और छोटा सा प्रश्न मेरा शुक्ला जी से है, जिन्होंने गोल्डन ट्रायंगल के रथ को टुवर्ड्स मत पर लेने के बोला है। सर हम लोग बसें भेजते हैं, मैं टूर ऑपरेटर हूँ, बसें भी रखता हूँ। जब गाड़ी हम लोग टैक्स पे करके ऑनलाइन जाते हैं, जैसे इंटर किया हमेशा 2000 का पेनाल्टी चार्ज करते हैं मध्य प्रदेश वाले, हरासमेंट भी करते हैं उसको। इसको रोका जाए, क्योंकि यहाँ पर लॉट ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट और टाइम जो वेस्ट हो रहा है इंटरनेशनल मार्केटिंग और डोमेस्टिक मार्केटिंग में, ये हमें हराश करता है कि मैं मध्य प्रदेश न जाऊँ। थैंक यू।
Thank you. One last question, please. Sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Raj Singh. I'm from Antara Luxury Cruises, and we are working on with the UP government on promoting river cruise tourism. So I was in the US. So mine is an observation practically for 10 days back and a question. Let me tell you, India is nowhere in the US when it comes to by the Department of Tourism for any promotions. There was zero there. There's absolutely nothing there. There's no way inbound operators actually can do anything without the presence of the Government of India Tourist Office. So my question to you, sir, is from the Government of India Tourist, are you actually going to do something about it, or it's just a talk? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Last question, please.
My name is Lalit Suri, and my question is for Honorable Mr. Arvind Singh, sir. That there has been a lot of initiatives now from the government. Recently, Prime Minister Modi spoke about in the Home Ministers Conference, talking about an app-based assistance services for travelers. So though we have been doing a lot of things to invite tourism in India, grow the tourism as an industry, but is the government doing something about it? Having an app-based travel assistance service?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, friends, no more questions, please. Now hold on to your questions. After the session, you can ask individually everybody. But since, Varmaji, I think most of the questions were addressed to you, I'll ask you to.
I'll first reply to what Mr. Raj mentioned. You know, we as a Ministry of Tourism are also extremely concerned about this overseas promotion. As I said, we ran into something, we got stuck up with our old policy. We've sorted out those issues. There is a decision taken that overseas offices have not been effective. That decision has also been finalized so that we move ahead rather than being stuck up. So all, all clearances are in place. The new scheme, our target is about 30 days. We should be out with new schemes. So the fund flow and the activities will start. Overseas promotion, we are strengthening through market representative. We're experimenting with this, and I'm sure there will be good learnings from that. And the National Tourism Board, and if required, the board can further set up offices and take further promotional activities, whatever industry feedback gives. But we are equally concerned and agitated as much as industry is, because we also in the ministry, it's one of the main activities that we need to spearhead. The second issue about the app, yes, we are relaunching our Incredible India website and app both. We also have larger plans of digital tourism mission, which will address many of the other challenges on the supply side and making sure that the best way technology can be deployed for tourism sector. So you will see a lot of those things happening. And a new app also, maybe about 4 to 5 months, will be available. We'll try and provide as many services, as many facilitation services as possible digitally in partnership with the states and industry. So that's also in the pipeline. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Meshanji, if you'd like to also say the question to you about the states going abroad, and everybody wants to meet them and kind of situation. Anything you'd like to say about this and this problem with buses, if you like to address? Otherwise, we can avoid that.
As far as parking is concerned, we have already included in our policy wayside amenities under PPP scheme, and we are ready to provide incentives, subsidies to the developer. Secondly, Ayodhya, all the 6 major roads approaching to Ayodhya, we are constructing 6 big complexes, like gate complexes, which we call them. So we will have parking facilities, we will have public amenities, handicraft market, souvenir shops, yoga center, everything. So already we have procured land and soon we will start developing such facilities. In other areas also, Vindhyachal or major tourist destinations, we are in the process of developing parking facilities. Rest about the police harassment, that we will speak to our counterpart in the police department. We will write to them so that a smooth travel becomes possible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Moving on to Odisha, sir, this is a very small issue about from Delhi being recognized.
There seems to be some technical issue. If the company is registered outside Odisha, then they may not be able to get benefit here. But we will talk to the concerned Delhi government as well as Ministry of Tourism. We will take up your issue with their end so that you can get benefit of this thing. Second thing, what Mr. Raj Singh said about promotion overseas, although it is not in my jurisdiction, it belongs to Ministry of Tourism. But suffice to say that with the enhancement of budget in every sector, we are moving in the right direction. We will be there. We are going in the right direction. That much I can say. Thank you.
Thank you. Friends, I actually need to end the session now because we've really gone over time. But let me tell you one thing. In the end, you are the Dil, you have been called the Sarthi, you have been called the blood vessels. So it's all important. The point over here which I want to make is, there's a yes and acceptance to work with you people to promote tourism is there. That's your first step. That hurdle is over. Now, if I may say, the ball is in your court. The onus is on all of you to make things happen. So please, they're willing to accept it. They're willing to do work with you in every way possible. So I think that's a big achievement. And now please reach out to them collectively and make policies which is going to help you people. No individual things, but I think that's what it is. Please, can you give them a standing ovation? Please, can you guys stand up? I think there's been a remarkable thing which these guys have said. So please, ताली तुम्हारा जोर से यार, breakfast तो खा लिया था. Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot, and Rini, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sanjeet. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are a little late to the party now. We've exceeded our time slots, so I'd like you to quickly help us in presenting tokens of appreciation to our panelists, and I request Mr. Rajiv Mehra to please do that for us. Mr. Mehra, may I request you to please quickly present tokens to our panelists. All right, quickly, please. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. That was a fantastic session, and we've had a stimulating start to our day. We now move on to our next session. That is a special session on our host state, Uttar Pradesh. Gentlemen, may I request you all to please take your seats down below. Mr. Mishra, may I request you to please remain on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to please take your seats. We've got a running session on. We can continue our conversations. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you like me screaming from here, asking you to sit down repeatedly. I don't think it's a nice thing for speakers who are eager to talk to you. You don't need reminders that we've got a session going on all day. We're running according to a time schedule, and the longer you keep us away from our discussions, the longer you're going to stay on here. So please be seated. I request you all to please be seated. We've got a session now that focuses on the host state of Uttar Pradesh, and we've got Mr. Mukesh Kumar Meshram. Can you reduce the volume? I can hear myself echoing. The Principal Secretary and DG Tourism with Uttar Pradesh, who will be in conversation with Rahul Chakravarti, COO Iato. Please be seated. Gentlemen in the front row, may I request you all to please be seated? Rahul, it's over to you.
There will be a present. Hello. Can we have the presentation, please, of UP?
Is he doing it? Just forward. Keep pressing forward.
So Uttar Pradesh opportunities, and for tourism it's a sunrise sector because there are many opportunities and it has immense potential. So it's third highest in foreign tourist arrival in 2021, 4% of total FTA in India. Second highest in domestic tourist visits in 2021, 16% of total domestic tourists. So we have 12 major tourism circuits: Ramayana circuit, Krishna or Braj circuit, Buddhist circuit, wildlife and ecotourism circuits, Bundelkhand circuit, Mahabharat circuit, Shaktipeeth circuit. So out of 12, 8 are spiritual and religious tourism circuits. We have Sufi, Kabir circuits. We have 3 UNESCO World Heritage Monuments, and there are many other world famous sites as well. So these are the 12 major circuits we have identified for tour operators and for the tourists, and each circuit has its own potential, its own USP to call it. It's land of diverse tourism potential, industry status to tourism sector we have recently accorded, and then in terms of ease of doing business, it's very business and industry friendly state. आवाज आ रही है. So we want private participation through PPP also, and all the tour operators are welcome to promote tourism destinations in a big way. Eco-tourism circuit projects. Recently we have set up a state eco-tourism board just 2 months back. And now all the eco-tourism sites, we are developing the infrastructure. In collaboration with Forest Department, major eco-tourism sites also being promoted, and for tour operators, we will have special promotional avenues for it. We have 1 national park, 11 wildlife sanctuaries and 24 bird sanctuaries. So for particularly foreign tourists, where they just want to have experiential tourism, they want to go away from the crowded places or urbanized hustle bustle. So we have many things to showcase. This is land of Buddha, right from early childhood to Mahaparinirvana. He spent many years in Uttar Pradesh. So we have Kapilvastu, Sarnath, Kaushambi, Sankesa, Shravasti and Kushinagar. These are major 6 destinations, but apart from these 6 destinations, we have 4 more Buddhist destinations also. Ramgram, Devda, Aichhatra, Devgarh, Sarnath. The importance of Sarnath. This is Kapilvastu, an important Buddhist pilgrimage site. Lord Buddha spent his first 29 years of his life here. This is Kushinagar, Kaushambi. So particularly for Buddhism followers, what we see that there are 50 crore Buddhist followers across the world, but hardly we are able to attract 5 lakhs of them per annum. Whereas other religious sites, Jerusalem or Vatican City or Makkah Medina, they can attract large number of followers of their respective religions. So Southeast Asia can become very big potential area from where we can attract foreign tourists, inbound tourists in Uttar Pradesh. This is Sankesa, Shravasti, and now we are inviting investors to come and invest in these Buddhist sites also. They can develop hotels, resorts, ecotourism projects. Then there are heritage sites. Recently we have identified 31 palaces and forts in Bundelkhand region. Likewise, we have forts and palaces across the states also, which we are listing out, and we will lease them out to private developers to convert into heritage hotels or heritage properties. So you can see Chhatar Manzil, Lucknow, it has very good location on the bank of Gomti River. Then Tehrauli Fort, Jhansi, Salat Fort, Mahoba, this is Chhatar Manzil. It has 200 rooms available. It's associated with 1857 freedom movement, first freedom struggle of India. This is Chunar Fort, Mirzapur, just 45 minutes away from Varanasi. And Varanasi is now facing challenges of accommodation. So here we have 50 acres of land available. Lord Warren Hastings used to live in this campus. So we are ready to lease it out to any private investor to develop as a heritage hotel or heritage site. This is Koti Gulistane-Iram, Lucknow. We have Koti Roshanudullah in Lucknow. This is Barua Sagar Kila, Jhansi. So all the information is available at our stall, which is set up here. This is another one in Lucknow. This is Tiket Rai, Baradari, Shukla Talab, Kanpur, the Jal Mahal in Braj area. And now, after, like post-COVID, there is potential for rural and agro-tourism also. And some of the areas can become hub of these activities. Near Delhi, Bulandshahr, they have set up this Bagan Orchard. And then Melakoti near Agra. So the tour operators can include some of these villages in their itinerary for experiential tourism. And Uttar Pradesh, every district has its own USP of craft and cuisine. So one district, one product. We have identified one product for each district, and there are craftsmen working on different kind of crafts. We can showcase all this to our tourists. We can tag them there. They can engage with the activities, and they can also purchase some of the items. Caravan tourism, Yuva tourism, tent city, wellness tourism, these are also some of the areas which are emerging very fast, and we can include in the itineraries. As far as connectivity is concerned, we have developed heliports, Mathura and Agra, in an area of about 10 acres of land. So it will have mixed land use. It will have heliports, it will have accommodation facilities and other public amenities. These are the heliports, actual site photographs. At Agra, 27,200 square meter of area is available, and we are in the process of leasing it out to the private investor. So the connectivity improves. From Agra, if somebody wants to visit other places of Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh also, like to Dudhwa or Lucknow or to Ayodhya or Varanasi, they can have this connectivity. This is Mathura, 50,000 square meter area is available, and we are also leasing out this heliport. Then we have a heliport at Lucknow. We have started cruise tourism. So there are two cruises running in Varanasi, and we have two Ro-Ro packs also. 78 guest houses available with UP Tourism Development Corporation. We are offering these to the private investors so that they can be converted in good hotels or good properties, and recently some of the investors have started doing so. In fact, some of the Rahi tourist guest houses have been converted into big brand hotels like Marriott hotels or other hotels. Ayodhya, here 12.5 acres of land is ready to be developed as a tourist information center, tourist hub. There are MICE activities. We can rope in people for MICE activities also. India Expo Mart in Greater Noida and Rudraksh Convention Center, Varanasi. Barua Sagar Fort, Jhansi, ready to be converted as heritage hotel. It's on the bank of Barua Sagar Lake. It's very big lake, and it's hillock where very good property is located. We are starting the process. This is UP tourism policy. It's for 5 years, and the aim is to make it top in terms of foreign tourist arrivals, and we have targeted 20,000 crore rupees investment to create 1 million additional jobs in the tourism and hospitality sector and improve brand image of Uttar Pradesh in terms of safety and a tourist destination for experiential tourism. So that is why agro and rural tourism, we have already engaged rural tourism consultants, and they have started working, they have started identifying the villages which have potential to convert them as rural destinations. And under PPP, we will develop all these places. So as I said, there is heritage, art and culture tourism. There is spiritual and religious tourism, nature and wildlife tourism, meeting, incentives, MICE, water-based activities, because there are so many rivers, adventure tourism, wellness, medical tourism, rural, village, Yuva tourism, cuisine tourism, wedding tourism and film tourism. These are the categories for tourism units can be developed and get incentives. Substantial amount of subsidies we are offering to these units, 25%. And in addition to 25%, 5% additional incentive will be provided to the women and SC/ST entrepreneurs. This is eligible capital investment which we are offering. Even land purchase is also included in the capital cost that will be eligible for getting subsidies. Tourism units built under construction, because we had earlier 2016 and 2018 policies. So if they are semi-constructed or non-operational, they will also be benefited. Earlier it was just 15% subsidy, but now we are offering 25% subsidies to the units which were registered under 2018 policies but non-operational or under construction, just because of COVID impact. These are the places and special incentives for heritage hotels. 5% additional subsidy will be given to the units for next 5 years on a bank loan up to 5 crore of rupees. 100% exemption on stamp duty and land use conversion, 50% reimbursement on excise license fees of first year, and other facilitation will also be done for heritage hotels. ICT enablement, as I said, one-time assistance of 25% of the cost of procuring equipment to any tourism units, including tour operators. It's not limited to the hospitality units. And 25% subsidy to promotional content using technology or artificial intelligence and metaverse. If somebody is ready to develop their websites or 360-degree kind of e-tourism content, then we will provide them financial assistance. For skill development also, 100% reimbursement on hospitality-related course fees per person. Tour management, travel management institute, or any kind of courses, if somebody is offering and they are joining these courses, we will do 100% reimbursement on that. Support to responsible tourism, this is additional thing which we have started. 75% reimbursement of the cost of carrying out an energy audit. 20% reimbursement of capital cost of setting up a sewerage plant. 50% reimbursement of green certification fees. If any unit, just to promote green building concept, and 100% reimbursement on achieving Responsible Tourism Society of India certification. So these are some additional incentives for responsible tourism. For innovation also, one-time incentive for innovative projects on approval by DG Tourism. So there is a committee set up for this. For film tourism also 2% additional subsidy, and there are state tourism awards. We are starting state tourism award. We will organize tourism conclave every year, state tourism conclave, wherein we will invite best tour operators, best hoteliers, best restaurants, best travel writers, best bloggers, and we will award cash prize of 1 lakh rupees to the first achiever. This is the timeline from registration to availing of incentives. It's very simple. We have made it very smooth and simplified process. And as I mentioned, Sarthi. So all the tour operators are our Sarthi. Please come in UP and have your business in a big way. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you have very lucidly identified the entire policy framework of Uttar Pradesh. And I am going to just come down to my last request to you, because cut out the rest. Sir, you have a band of eminent tour operators sitting in front of you. How do you propose to draft them into your promotional strategy?
See, every tour operator is our brand ambassador, because as I mentioned, and I have showcased so many circuits, there are 12 major circuits which we have identified. So why only Agra or why only Varanasi? If some tourists are coming to Agra, we can take them to rural side, we can take them to other destinations also, but for that we will have to include it in the itinerary, in the package of, and before that we will have to convince upon the tourists that these are also very important places, and one can have different kind of experience visiting all those places.
Sir, what I wanted to drive at is this, that when you go for an international travel mart, if you are in your entourage, you decide to have 10 tour operators, suppose, by an example. My request from the side of Iato is that out of those 10, 5 can be from UP, 5 tour operators should be taken from outside UP, across the country, who are also promoting UP. That way, your canvas is huge, and of course, everyone who is promoting UP, even outside UP, gets a chance. That is my important take, and if you can address our
that's a very good suggestion, and we will certainly go for it. We will include that suggestion in our policy.
Sir, thank you very much, sir. And last but not the least, as we all talked about financial assistance to tour operators when they go out, as you heard Additional Secretary say that the policy is still on the anvil. It still has to be decided. So what is your take on the financial assistance to tour operators who are being taken by you in your entourage to foreign countries for marketing Uttar Pradesh as a tourist destination?
See, the tour operators will participate in national conventions or national travel marts.
Sir.
They will also get the benefits, and abroad for international travel marts, we have already made provisions for that.
Okay, Thank you, sir. Last but not the least, I would like to say that with zero tolerance towards misuse of law and order, Uttar Pradesh is all set to position itself as a leading tourist destination of India. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chakravarti and Mr. Meshram. Ladies and gentlemen, we're moving on to our next section, which is a presentation by the state of Odisha. And we have with us the very articulate Director Tourism from the state, Mr. Sachin Jadhav, who I request to please make the presentation on Odisha now.
Thank you, ma'am. Since we are already running late, let me be very brief. On the state presentation, the topic of tourism is vast, and I believe 3 hours are not enough to cover all the points, but let me try to cover Odisha. So again, I have received advice. So Odisha, as it is known traditionally, Utkala, Kalinga, Odra, we have many unique things to claim. We are a state with 62 distinct tribes, accounting for 22% of population, 482 kilometers of long sea coast, dotted with scenic beaches, one of those already granted the status of blue flag beach. We have one of the largest forest covers in the country, close to 34%. We are one of the best administered state in the country on several parameters. Over the last 10 years, 8 million people have been raised above the poverty line. We have been among top 3 investment destinations for last 15 years. We were number 1 state in attracting investment during 2029, and we are the best state as far as disaster management goes. All this due to a solid good governance practices. We have received a lot of awards, recognitions. We are one state offering multiple experiences in fairs, festivals, ethnic tourism, arts, crafts, ecotourism, coastal and wetland tourism. We have 19 forest sanctuaries, 2 Ramsar sites, 1 national park, 1 tiger reserve. And with this, slated to become one of the hottest ecotourism destinations in the country. And of course, with more than 1,000 temples, live temples in Bhubaneswar alone, we are the spiritual capital of the country. Earlier, we used to call ourselves the soul of incredible India. We have developed various tourist circuits, prominent among them being Golden Triangle Heritage that covers Bhubaneswar, Konark, Puri, Chilka, Buddhist, Chilka circuit, ethnic circuit, wildlife circuits. When it comes to Buddhism, if Uttar Pradesh is the birthplace of Buddhism, Odisha is the place from where Buddhism spread to the world. The famous Kalinga war that Samrat Ashoka fought with Kalinga, that site is just on the outskirts of Bhubaneswar, on the banks of Daya river, where the Dhauli Shanti Stup stands today. And from here, Buddhism has spread to the world, and there are a lot of Buddhist heritage sites in the country, in the state of Odisha, which are awaiting their proper justice, and we are working in that direction. As I already mentioned, there are various scenic beaches, starting from the Patesunapur beach, where we have the flagship project of Eco Retreat this year, up to the borders of Digha, West Bengal, that is the Talsari beach. We have numerous sea beaches. This photograph on the background is the newly being constructed, this heritage corridor in Puri, on the lines of this Varanasi corridor, and state government has invested huge amount of 1,500 crore rupees for development of this particular corridor, and we are slated to develop this particular circuit. This photo in the background, you can see this Dhauli Shanti Stupa, and Bhubaneswar has this Odisha has this diamond triangle, that is Ratnagiri, Udaygiri, Lalitgiri, and the ancient university of Pushpagiri. It was contemporary of Vikramshila University and Nalanda University, Takshashila University. Those heritage remains, they are still there. In addition to that, Odisha has 2 centers of live Buddhism. Number 1 is traditional Buddhists living in various villages and taking ahead the tradition of textiles of Madhya Mandu saris. Those are the living Buddhists since last more than 2000 years. And another is Jirang on the south part of the country, where we have this settlement of Tibetan guests under the umbrella of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Odisha has been one important center of arts and crafts. More than 51 recognized art forms they exist in Odisha. That photograph in the corner, that silver, that is called filigree work, Tarkashi work, stone art, textile. There are numerous forms of textiles in Odisha. Behrampur, Sambalpur, these are famously known for textiles. But there are multiple forms of textiles. For want of time, I may not be able to explain to all those forms. When it comes to performing arts, Odisha is the birthplace of one of the oldest classical dance forms, that is Odissi, which itself has evolved from semi-classical and folk dances like Mahari, Gotipuo, Chhau, Pala, Daskathia, Baganacha, Ghodanacha. These are some names. But if I take names of all the folk dances and tribal dances, I will not stop before I count the number 100. Ethnic tourism, I have already mentioned, there are 62 different tribes, and in one district of Koraput, in that southern district alone, there are 12 distinct tribes speaking different languages. This much of diversity, I am afraid to say, not even Northeast possesses this kind of diversity. Population-wise, the tribal diversity of the entire country, if you see the concentration of that diversity, Odisha is the place to go. Odisha cuisine is one area where Odisha tourism is trying to promote. In this direction, we have launched a series of restaurants called Nimantran, promoted by the state. But we are also expecting investment in this sector also. So our new Odisha tourism policy offers incentives in this direction also. The Chappan Bhog, that phrase of cuisine, it has come from the rituals of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath is fond of food. He is the Lord of food. From there this phrase has come. And Odisha is also home to a lot of sweet meats as well as a lot of seafood varieties. We have forest department running more than 50 nature camps in the sanctuaries I already mentioned. We have a very vibrant festival calendar. During my panel discussion, I mentioned one of those, Chilka Bird Festival. So we have dance festivals, music festivals, bird festivals, covering all these things. And considering the pandemic times, we promoted this product of Odisha by road with exciting road itineraries across the state. We have various new products in offering, of which many products have already taken place, like Blue Flag, beach shacks, they are already in place. Cruise tourism, in the morning I mentioned about Mr. Raj Singh. He is developing 4 of our catamarans to world-class luxury houseboats. Already one houseboat has launched in the Chilka Lake, which is running successfully since last 6 months, and we are expecting multiples of these. Heritage hospitality is another wing. Odisha is home to several royal houses. Many people do not know that this fact. We are in the process of promoting and supporting such properties also. We have master plan development for 16 important destinations. This is one of the photograph of Tampara Lake development. We have launched a flagship project of eco retreat, and this year we have launched it at 7 scenic destinations of Konark, Daringbadi, Hirakud, Putsil, Sonapur, Satkosha, Bhitarkanika. This year we are in the 4th year of this project. This is one product that we are really proud of. These are some actual site photographs of last year. This year it has just recently started. On 15th December we inaugurated Konark, and these are luxury properties, and these are being received well. So we are in the attempt to frame new narrative for Odisha. If you see our logo, this logo is a vibrant logo representing various aspects which Odisha has to offer to the world. And this opportunity is more beneficial towards the tour operators, because the more business opportunities, the more travel. We want high spending tourists to come to Odisha, spend more nights in the state. That is why this product, this eco retreat, is organized at less explored yet scenic locations where the tourists can come. The investors also have confidence to invest into such areas. So these are some of the integrated master plans that we are planning in this direction. In addition to this, there are 49 locations where we have systematic infrastructure development through infrastructure gap assessment. These are some of the new products. Eco retreat, it is slated to expand to other areas. That second is actual photograph of a luxury houseboat in Chilka. The third is Nimantran restaurant. Fourth is eco cottage. That project is in the offing. Camping is in the offing. Beach shacks are already operational. Caravan tourism, We expect this to be launched in the month of January in our state. These are some of the concept photographs of top two boat clubs, one at Cuttack, one at Hirakud. The another is Talsari Beach Promenade. This is under construction. Ramchandi Bridge Promenade, it is getting to be inaugurated by this month end. This is actual photograph of Tampara lakefront development. In night, it looks far more beautiful. These are the actual photographs of this area. This is Tampara lakefront development. So these are the properties to show. These are actual photographs of water sports that are happening in the state. These are various brands that Odisha tourism is promoting in an attempt to increase more inbound tourism and giving more facilities to the investor as well as tourism. This is what we have achieved over the last 4 years. We have investment approval of 5,800 crore rupees with 122 projects approved, which promise 6,000 plus employment, and land bank for tourism projects of 23,000 acres has been identified, of which 3,000 acre has been firmly established. So 3,000 acres of land bank is already on shelf. This is our vibrant website on which the tour operators, we give their promotional avenues also. These are the incentives that I have already elaborated during my panel discussion to the tour operators. These are the things that we have to offer. Come to Odisha. I welcome all of you to visit our eco-retreat project, and we will also officially invite you for a fam trip. Thank you very much. I hope, Rini ma'am, I have kept my word. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jadhav. Thank you for also keeping time. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just apologize. We are running short on time, and I've been given the onus of, ringing the bell every time. So it's got nothing personally to do with any of you. We have a schedule to maintain, and we'd like you to please cooperate with us when we ask you to keep time. All right, we're moving on to our second business session that looks at building relationships between hotels and tour operators. And as speakers, we have with us Mr. Parveen Chandra Kumar. May I request you to please come up and take your seats so that we don't waste any time. Mr. Parveen Chandra Kumar, Executive Vice President, Sales and Marketing, IHCL. Maharaj Kumar Sahib Laksharaj Singh Mewar of Udaipur, CMD, HRH Group of Hotels. Mr. Vikramjit Singh, President Sales, Lemon Tree Hotels. Mr. Pranab Sarkar, Managing Director, Swagatam Tours. Please come up, gentlemen. Are we here? Speakers, please come up quickly. Mr. Kumar, Maharaj Kumar Sahib, Laksharaj Singh Mewar, Mr. Vikramjit Singh, Mr. Pranab Sarkar is already here. And to steer this session, we have the ever so popular, innovative, and unique. I'm sorry, yeah, we'll have to go on, yeah. Innovative and unique, Homa Mistry, CEO, Trailblazer Tours. That's a very half-hearted approach, no? Let's hear the full house. I know you had a fabulous dinner last night. I know you had a fabulous breakfast today. And I know that there's a fabulous lunch also organized. So I'd like you to clap with your heart and your stomach. Let's hear you do that. All right, just before Homa takes over, one more thing that I'd like to add to you. We've got bowls that are going around. Those are not begging bowls. Those are bowls for you to add your visiting cards to, because we have a lucky draw that takes place for the door prizes, which will be announced later. Just as incentive, may I tell you that our door prizes are a smartphone, a Bluetooth speaker, and earpods, which have all been sponsored by India Assist. We won't have the door prizes immediately after this session. What we're going to do is we're going to test whether you can eat lunch and come back here and not sleep. So before the next session starts, we shall have the door prizes being announced. It's over to Homa now.
It doesn't come up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. That's better. And good afternoon, all my friends on the panel. Today, in this age of technology, building relationship, and especially building relationship for inbound tour operators, is very, very, very important. However much the technology increases, our business is such that we need to be very closely knit with our hotelier partners, because the new client which is going to come, the demands of the new client are completely different. There are various aspects that you have to look in, maybe not just the accommodation, but the food and whatever else the new client wants. And therefore, our subject is building relationships. Now, every year we have this session. So I want to begin with a thank you session. Two reasons. One, to thank for what we got. And number two, many times people within us do not know what has happened. So in any seminar, normally kya hota hai, the first three benches are studious people or EC members of Iato, and they want to listen. The rest 70% are not actually interested, they know it all. And then the third last wala hai, are interacting, they are talking, kuch walk le rahe hain, us type ka session hota hai. But last year, while all this was happening, on behalf of Iato, I had requested hoteliers, and that time Mr. Chatwal and Nakul Anand were there, and we had requested for online static rates, which obviously, and for whatever reason, that day they said yes. But that yes did not end, and finally, we all, as inbound tour operators of Iato, have this code available with us. But why I brought this point of saying not only thank you, I also know that many in this room are not using it. So what have we got? Actually, there's a site which gives static rates to Iato agents. It is available to all and the price is same. So we are all at par. Nobody is big, nobody is small. And Taj started it, and very soon ITC has also given. So we have static rates, so you can quote on that. B, there is availability of room which is available on a click of a button. C, it is bookable. So friends, many years ago when SCIS started, many tour operators for 3 years did not claim it. This point is very important. Today we have two people whom we are thanking, and I have a third target over there whom I will try and convince to come onto the platform. But what did it give us? So it is not 1 or 2 room nights. The room nights that have been booked collectively in this hall by tour operators is not 1,000 room nights, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. 7,500 room nights have been booked when the business is low. And booked by you. 180 tour operators have logged in and have started using this for Taj, and 137 have done it for ITC. It is a huge segment. Next year when we stand over here and we have a full year, we collectively, like an Amul dairy where everybody brings 1 liter and it bakes into a huge, industry, that's what has happened. Next year, we as inbound tour operators of Iato, by using this, will be doing over 50 crores. At the moment, while I speak today on 12th of December, the figure is 7,500 room nights collectively, 15 crores of business, no credit, has already been done. So this is a growing segment, and while I thank Taj, ITC is not here, I want you to tell us how to take it forward. And when I come to Vikram, obviously Vikram, you were not there last time, but you can look at the power of the inbound tour operator, and we would request if you could also give us this kind of a code so that it helps everybody.
So, Humad, thank you. And
all yours.
Gratitude is common, so it's from our side also. And I remember last year when we were sitting on the dais, we were trying to figure out that in order to start business back, what are the things we should do? And this was a great idea. With great agility, we closed it. We've seen results are very good. In fact, the average questions that what are the things which we will do to make sure that we support them. So we will continue with these rates, and we are also going to make sure that digital interfaces, I think that's what the world is moving towards. So the agility of having the rates available without asking people, you can see it yourself, that's been very, very helpful, and we will continue doing that.
Thank you very much. And Vikram, while you are here, if we can hear from you, what is your plan?
So Homa, I think thank you, and thank you for a very subtle nudge. Absolutely, and I think I would rather say, why didn't you call me here last year? You already delayed Lemon Tree Hotels to be on such a platform by 1 year.
Thank you.
Let me tell you, next year, that thank you list will have our name as well.
Sure.
So you have a commitment from my side.
So it is building up, and this is the power of an association. Thank you very much. And let's work with our president and the EC members and try and bring that on. So while I say thank you, now with the real session starts, and I would like to start with Mr. Pranab Sarkar. अब हमारे साथ क्या हो रहा है, हम कितने दुखी हैं, हम कैसे लुट गए, मर गए, that part kindly, sir, you can take that forward, and then we'll ask the questions. Sir, all yours.
Yeah, good afternoon. Sound little more. Yeah. Good afternoon, and very warm welcome for this session, and thank you, Homa, for organizing this session, that building relationship between hotels and tour operators. How important it is, we all know that. We all know that without the cooperation between the tour operators and hotel, there could not be better business for mutual benefits. At present, there are some issues after the pandemic, which I would like to discuss here, and shall be looking forward for some solutions and better business relationship. I would like to share some of the points where tour operators are facing challenges and way forward to help the industry for better business and mutual cooperation. The first point is that pre-COVID, inbound business is not yet back, but all hotels are doing excellent business with domestic business. We all know that. Booking hotel rooms are hurdles, as we are not getting timely confirmations. There is a delay because all the sales team is busy in doing domestic business. So inbound is getting little sidelined at the moment. Number 3, there are multiple room rate structure. Now hotels are offering not only winter season, there is high season, festival dates, exhibition dates, event dates, marriage blocks, and blackout dates. So all the dates, they are having different rate structure for the rooms, and nowadays we cannot get any special rates without the dates. So we cannot quote to our foreign operators without having any date is very tough. Contracted rates are not honored in many cases by individual hotels or part of the chain hotels, and hotels are offering dynamic rates of the day. Many cases, group rates are higher than the FIT rates because groups are no more that much important at the moment because they are getting higher rate on FIT base. At times, rooms are available but not confirmed for groups. Sometimes online rates are cheaper than the contracted rates, but tour operators do not get lower rates.
The list is long.
Online bookings get cancellation policy 24 hours time limit, but in case of tour operators, it is not offered. There is no coordination between the hotel sales team for tour operators and corporate MICE sales team of the hotels, and there are differences in rates offered to tour operators and directly to the corporates. There is no level playing field, which is a big hurdle. After the pandemic, there is a huge change in hotel credit policy, and most of the hotels are on advance payment. There is no doubt that hotels have burned their fingers at many cases, but now business is back and new credit policy shall be a great help for smooth business. Prior to COVID period, in many cases, small tour operators paid advance to the hotels for booking rooms, but tours got cancelled due to the lockdown. There are a lot of cases of refund are not made till today. Some cases, hotels inform that advances shall be adjusted against the future business, but tour operators are not sure of getting back the business for the same hotel and when. On the other hand, tourist and foreign tour operators are asking refund from the tour operators. There may be many more hurdles which our friends in the audience may like to highlight if time permits. And these are few to start with, Homa. Thank you very
sir.
much.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, while the business has gone up, we, especially in inbound tour operation, are having many hurdles. And what can be a better opportunity than, there are multiple problems that we put in front of you. Even if a few of them you could address or look at, it would really help us to make our business smooth. So any of you all who wants to take that forward?
So, Homa, the last 2 years have been extremely difficult for the entire industry. Same from hotels and even the travel. And so what's really happened is that the tectonic plates of our business have changed. But good thing is that we are reaching back to normalcy. So where we were in, let's say, 1920 or 1819, slowly the segments are moving towards that. They will never completely align, but I would say as we speak, 60-70% alignment is already received, and it will go on further. So, in fact, I just came back from IITM, and we are seeing very good interest of people coming back to India. So, inbound tourism is going to be on a high. And we do understand the importance of the travel trade industry and the business that we seek with them. So I think most of the things that we have discussed, 50% we've already had a conversation and we've sorted it out in our system. And as we move ahead towards normalcy, you will see most of the other issues will also get sorted out. And we are one family, we work together, and I think we just need to keep having dialogues.
So when Mr. Pranab Sarkar has said so many things that you are facing, the issue is not, we are not addressing it to only 2-3 main chain panelists who are over here, but in this hall, there are many, many principals and hotels of ours. We are trying to bring this point to you that, you do need to make some amount of commitment for the inbound tourist as well while the boom is there. So, it's for all to listen and all to see how to take it forward. So, Mr. Sarkar had many things. Kabhi-kabhi kya hota hai, we forget this in a session. So, let me see if I can explain. This is how the booking is done, but this is what I want to leave with you. Now, in inbound tour operation, commitment is of prime importance. So, if I commit to my foreign tour operator, that I will give you an X rate, I cannot change it. So, when the salesperson comes to our office, the personality is changing today. One day he is like Charlie Chaplin, but when he goes back or jab reply aana hota, he becomes Hitler. And we are not able to understand how do we overcome this. Because जब वो आता है, वो कहता है, सर मैं आपके साथ हूँ, समझो, I understand, वो कब चले जाता है. Reply कुछ अलग ही आता है. अब commitment is very, very important. And standard reply है दो. पहला reply, सर मैं आपके साथ हूँ, लेकिन ये revenue वाला तो GM की भी नहीं सुनता. Now what do? The second reply again standard for all is, sir हमारा तो मालिक ही खराब है. Now, he is the guy who is paying your salary, but the answer that we are getting, मैं उसको क्या बोलूँ FTO को? So commitment, please. It is very, very prime important for us that if you commit something, let us walk the street together, let us hold hands, and don't do that. That is one major problem. So in all the list, I thought photo दिखा के ही याद रह जाता है कि भाई this is serious business, once committed, cannot be changed. There is another thing also. जब हम जंगल में जाते हैं, नॉर्मल जंगल में हम बंदर, भालू, शेर, पेड़, पौधे, तितली सब कुछ देखते हैं. बट कभी ऐसा जंगल देखा जब गए जमीन थी और बंदर ही बंदर थे या शेर ही शेर थे? दैट इज नॉट पॉसिबल. सो फॉर दैट, one more slide explains. There is an ecosystem of hospitality where tour operator has to exist. My request is कि every day 10 o'clock meeting में अगर आप बोलते ही रहोगे direct business, वो बेचारा sales manager के सर में आ जाता है. Everything cannot be direct. There is a segment where number of people are investing money and walking the streets and bringing the business. You want, or we want, that at the high level, when you say yes, everybody down the line understands that this business is different kind of business. This segment is equally important. And therefore, one should not all the time try to throw the fish out and kill. Because kabhi when there is no fish in the water also gets contaminated. So it is good for us that we work together. So these 2 points. Now, friends, we come to heritage tourism. So, in our business in India, when we make itineraries, inbound tourism has survived, has thrived because of heritage tourism. And today we have the Prince himself, who and his family have very kindly allowed us to show international clients, Indian clients, what is luxury, what are the different stories around these heritage properties, what is the grandeur, and it is so well maintained and it is offered to our foreign tour operators. Every itinerary a foreigner wants to stay in a heritage property. And we have it on and on. My question is, over the years this has happened. Now, are we taking this forward? Because it is a great storytelling tool. When you come to India, you want to stay. So you have offered all your properties. Taj is running so many properties. How do you see this, and where do you want us to help you? How can we create more heritage circuits? How can we take this forward? Is a question I would like to take this opportunity and ask you.
Greetings, good afternoon. First and foremost, thank you so much. The one thing I think is exceptionally pertinent and important to mention here is that it's not only me that you have called and honored, but let me also tell you from the top of my heart that every heritage hotelier is honored by giving a presence on the Iato stage today.
Thank you.
So we are absolutely humbled. I think the first thing that you can do is give us a voice, give us a platform, which you have. And I think a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And the first step is having a conversation, having a heritage property here on this stage is, I think, a journey well begun.
Thank you.
So I am indeed grateful. So thank you very, very much for that. I think a couple of things that we first need to understand, and I think how Granddad and Dad started it in a ideology or a thought process or a philosophy, which was that heritage hospitality cannot be an excuse for bad hospitality. Like literally you had people running hot water, a man with 2 buckets of hot water and literally running across the corridor, you know. So that was exactly how it started off in the 50s, 60s, when the birth to the Lake Palace was given in its new avatar, and when the Tatas took it over and we started it as a hotel in 62. So right from there, and today I'm very, very happy to share with this August gathering on this beautiful platform that today and this year we are completing 50 years of togetherness between the Tatas and the House of Mewar, which also says that it is the longest standing association in independent India of any companies that have gone too far of these many years. So which is, I think, a great association, and that's why I be on the right side of this man and also of the Tatas. And the second hidden agenda is that जब कोई और marketing नहीं करे तो खुद को कर लेनी चाहिए. You know, so you mustn't miss that opportunity. So there is a lot that can be done from a perspective, and coming on a serious note from the marketing perspective, I think we as Indians don't talk about our product much. You know, that is something that I don't know why it happens. We've not been able to penetrate minds, geographical boundaries, people beyond a certain point, which I think is our greatest drawback. And those examples are very clearly available across spectrums that are there in other products, be it an ice cream. We have got restricted to India, be it butter, we are restricted to India. Our vada patties is restricted to Bombay, but whereas you will see a Baskin Robbins in every corner, you will see a McDonald's even in back and beyond of a country, in a city in China. So certain things that we just haven't been able to do is talk about the fabulous products that we have, what we can offer to the rest of the world, and certain things that have been fabulously running before even certain countries were discovered. So Udaipur, these palaces were built and lived in even before America was discovered, right? And today they have been run and managed by some of the best brands in the world. Like for example, the Lake Palace is being run and managed by the Tatas. But apart from that, there are various other properties that exist which need to be put out there. We all invite you to come and have a look, to experience, to see. The proof of the pudding really is in coming and experiencing what the land has to offer, what the product actually is. And I think now is a great time. Everybody has had a tough time in the last couple of years. And one thing we firmly believe, at least in our heritage business, in our part of the world, one thing I want to make very, very clear, and with utmost humility, I would like to say the bond between the heritage hoteliers and the tour operators is the magic that is between concrete and iron. You know, that bond is what we also share and feel as far as we are concerned. And I think it's time now that we build it to a bigger platform. We take a few more stories, a few more steps, and build forward on that and talk.
So while on those few steps, HRH Properties has quite a good number of properties. Is it possible that for ease of doing business, you could also associate with Iato so that a large number of people are able to experience and get these rates? Absolutely. What has been done? And if you can say yes, then we follow it up and we'll keep building on this. Ease of being business.
A big, bold yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So very rarely you are able to achieve something in a session, and thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Praveen, anything on heritage?
So on the heritage properties, we feel that we've been custodians of these heritage properties, and we call them custodians of living legacies. And Lake Palace, just finished 50 years. Rambagh is just going to do 50 years, and then we continue to grow in that category. I personally feel that heritage properties in India are going to continue to grow. There are a lot of these hidden gems where the owners are spending money in restoring. It takes time. It's a work of love. It usually could take anything from 10 to 15 years to get the property ready to be opened up as a hotel, sometimes that long if you have to do proper restoring. But you will have these properties continue to open at various places in India. The second thing is we are seeing a lot of experiential tourism with the Indian local domestic market also taking forward. So, when you have a heritage property, you could talk about the storytelling of that particular place, and some of them are almost a century old. So this is going to continue, and we are really looking forward to creating circuits around that.
Thank you. Thank you. So friends, what are we trying to do today going forward as tour operators? We've seen that readily available rates are there. We've seen that lovely heritage properties are there. If those rates also come online, what we need to do is different states in India have different heritage properties. We should start and market more of heritage tourism. We'll be different from the run-of-the-mill different countries that we are competing with. Now, going forward, thank you for answering all our questions. Going forward, when you keep traveling overseas, लोग कहते हैं different क्या है और क्या है, how are you different? So we need to talk about certain things. And आज का latest thing is something called sustainable tourism. We have been listening about sustainable tourism, but somehow there is no action, at least from the tour operator's part. What we have been doing is, if you can put that slide on top, sustainable tourism, what we do is as tour operators, I can tell you that instead of a plastic waste paper basket in the car, I give a paper bag, and instead of a plastic bottle, I try and give a flask, which we explain to them it is reusable, and people appreciate that. But more and more people are asking about sustainability. After COVID, it has become even more. So it is very important we understand this subject. It is very important we talk about it. It is very important we handhold, and while selling our products, we make sure that we are able to explain what is sustainability, and the tourism department, how we are trying to work out with sustainability. So one part is the sustainability part. The other part is where you go beyond sustainability, means these are things that we can talk about. So on sustainability, there is something called Patya. Many of you would not know, so I'll take this opportunity and request Praveen to explain to us what are you doing over here, and how can we also talk about it so that when the clients are coming, they know that this country, these tour operators, these hoteliers are doing something for sustainable tourism. So if you can explain about this.
So a very good point, Huma. In fact, most of the people now when they travel, they are very careful about the footprint that is left, which is the carbon footprint, because travel creates a very large carbon footprint. So as we move ahead, there are a lot of people who want to go to places where there is sustainability. They want to go and stay in hotels and countries which care for the environment. And I don't think it's a choice anymore. It's not, it's something which we'll all have to do. So at the Tata Group, we've always worked for the community, and even at the Indian Hotel Company and Taj, we have always focused on making sure that we enrich and give back to the community. But what we did was last year, during the time of COVID, we also took this opportunity to launch our ESG platform called Pathya, which means the path that we want to take forward. And we took 6 different areas that we want to focus upon, which focus on environmental stewardship, which means we will focus on how to continue to preserve the environment. We also focus on sustainable procurement, which is very important, specifically in the kind of fields that we work. We also focus on corporate governance, which anyway has always been there. We're also focusing on things like providing livelihood and skill building workshops and skill building. And then the last thing that we're doing is we tied up with UNESCO, and we said that every hotel which has a UNESCO heritage site, we will take care of it. So which is a very bold move, and as we speak, we already have 20 projects running in various UNESCO sites within all over the country. In terms of skill building, our target is to have 100,000 youth which are going to be trained by 2025. We're also making all our water that we use in the hotel will be renewable water, which is recycled. So that's a very big thing by 2025. We've taken all these goals for 2025. We're also going to have 50% of the power that we use in our hotels bought or taken from the renewable sources. So that's another initiative we've taken. We also follow Earth Check, which is a very stringent measure for keeping an eye on how do we make our overall footprint taken care of and environment contribution. So 75 of our hotels are going to be at the highest level, which is platinum level of the Earth Check. And of course, the usual stuff about single-use plastic and going beyond, continues.
So our request is, this is very important, and it will help us when we travel overseas to talk about it. So on each, if you could share things regularly with us, because I'm sure many people over here don't know what you're doing, and you're doing a lot. So if you can share what you're doing, by email or something through Iato office, and it goes to everybody, I think it will help us and we'll be able to talk about it. Yes, sir.
Just one more thing I'd like to add. There has been a water bottling plant of glass bottles that's been put up by the Tatas as well in Udaipur. So all the properties there as well and with us. Obviously these are certain good practices that some of the others are also following. देखिए अकड़ जो है वो मुर्दा लोगों में होती है, जिंदा लोगों के अंदर विनम्रता होनी चाहिए. तो अगर हम लोग अगर किसी चीज को अप्लॉज कर रहे हैं तो फिर पूरी विनम्रता के साथ.
अरे वाह.
You have to, और लखनऊ के शहर में बैठे हैं, तहजीब के शहर में बैठे हैं और फिर ऐसा हो तो थोड़ा सा अजीब और अटपटा लगता है. But so this is a fantastic move that they have taken. The G20 summit that was handled jointly by us as well as the Tatas, all the eco-friendly stuff, the bottling of the waters, the bottles, the water, all of that kind of went out of that plant. It was inaugurated during that time. So these are also certain things,
so,
obviously apart from
so
the
there are various examples, and on sustainability, everybody knows what CGH has done. He's not on the panel, but when we go there, actually we take a round of the hotel and see how, from earthworm to water to everything, how they reuse and how each of their properties is so sustainable. So many hoteliers, I'm sure Lemon Tree must be doing. So there are some standard things, but kindly share with us. It will help us to be different from others, when we travel. But we spoke of properties.
Also, Homa, one more thing. We've just last week started a new itinerary called Carecations.
What?
Carecations. So that's the name of the itinerary. It's called Carecations. It's spread over 12 hotels in India. And it is called as Travel for Purpose. So this is an itinerary where you could go and stay in a hotel for 2 or 3 days, out of which the hotel inbuilds a half a day give back. And there are 3 different themes. So there are times, there are areas where you focus on giving back to the local artisans. There are places where you go back and work with the local community. And the third one is where you build skill with the local community and also UNESCO heritage sites. So this is going to be quite a game changer, because in India we are the first company which has started something like that. And we plan to roll this out, and we'll send you all the information on this.
Oh, baapre, suno kya hua? Smell the coffee. If you only sell hotel rooms, dukaan band ho jayegi, itinerary banane lage. Sir, can you make that commissionable at least?
Of course, definitely.
Because if we don't do it, they'll do it, and without value addition, you cannot survive. The new... नहीं, हमें तो पता ही नहीं है, हमारे नीचे से जमीन खिसक गई, आपने आइटनरी भी बना ली. So please share that with us. We are your, sales people, and we will make sure that we talk about it. So friends, we are talking of properties. Now, we all know about it, but today I'll take an opportunity to show you something which many don't know. Lemon Tree has gone beyond sustainability. They also look after people, which is people with disability. From disability to dignity. I want you to concentrate, give little time and see this video. It's an eye-opening video which will help us. Sir, can you put on the video from there, please? It is something 4 minutes, you just see what happens. Increase the volume. Volume.
छोटा था तो मुझे पता नहीं था कि ऑटिज्म होता क्या है। जैसे जैसे ये बड़ा होता गया मेरी टेंशन बढ़ती गई।
Person with autism has a difficulty in social and communication skills. If we see कि कितना अच्छे से वो डस्टिंग और सारा रूम बनाते हैं, बट वो रूम बनाने के पीछे जो चीजें होती हैं वो बहुत सी मेहनत की जाती है उनके साथ। जो भी एक टास्क है उसको एसओपी को भी बहुत छोटा छोटा ब्रेक करके और उसको सिखाना, एक मैनुअल डिफरेंट मैनुअल बनाया जाता है
जो कि नॉर्मल बच्चे नहीं कर पाते। ये इतना कॉन्फिडेंट हो गया कि मम्मा मैं हूँ आपके साथ, मैं करूँगा।
आई थिंक सो कोई भी इतना परफेक्टली काम नहीं कर सकता जितना वो कर रहा है घर में।
आज मैं गर्व फील करती हूँ कि ऐसा बच्चा मुझे मिला है।
When someone does good, we must appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends. Thank you. Thank you. May I request Vikramjit?
Thank you, all of you. You made me me stand and fold arms and say thank you very much. This is a very small initiative from our side. But what I want to say is that every person that you saw in the video, every task that you saw them do is all real. They are no models. They do this every single day, day in and day out. This is what they do in their jobs every day when they come to a Lemon Tree Hotel. I'm very proud to be here and to present the company, but this was an initiative which was taken way back in 2007 by our chairman. Started as a very small initiative. We hired a couple of people who were speech and hearing impaired. Today it's taken wings. 12% of our workforce today are people with the opportunity deprived Indians, as we call them. And in the next 3 years, by the financial year, the fiscal 26, we want to make it 30%. This is our motive, this is our challenge, and this is what we will achieve. Utopia actually would be when we have a hotel which is 80% manned by my differently abled colleagues. I have a general manager who's differently abled. So that's what we're looking at, that's what we want to do, and I hope I have everyone's support, because every time you give me business, you're also providing livelihood to people who otherwise may not get jobs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. One last thing I want to add here, Homa, is, you know, when you do this, make them a part of the ecosystem, make them a part of the workforce. Do not have them in addition to your sanctioned strength, to your manning, because then they don't feel like they are part of the ecosystem. You've got to give roles to them, assign tasks to them, make sure they do their job roles, and that's when they be a part of your system for a very long time. So please do not have them over and above. This is our learning. By doing this for so many years, you should make them a part and parcel of the ecosystem, part and parcel of the regular workforce that you have, and not keep them in addition to what you already have. So that's my little learning that I want to share with you today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So today they have a staff strength of 6,000 out of this 12% is a very, very big number. And yet again, see, here is an opportunity for us to talk about this. When everybody is just talking about water and plastic, we have an opportunity to talk about this, because there's a huge disabled community which also wants to travel. And if they come to know that there is an opportunity to stay in a property where they are, they are looked up with dignity, I'm sure it will help all of us. So thanks once again. But this point is very important. Mr. Nakul Anand is not here, but मैं उनके लिए भी एक slide लाया था. So you must know that ITC also does a lot, and Maurya has many times won awards on green tourism, sustainable tourism, and we really appreciate this. Friends, I think बहुत हो गया. Now we have to open it, but always it is important to show a drawing. Now, मैं क्या बोलूं इसके लिए? So let me try. I'll give you an example. घर में एक फैमिली में अगर 2 बच्चे होते हैं, मम्मी डैडी एंड 2 बच्चे, और उससे पूछो कि आप किसको ज्यादा प्यार करते हो, तो उसका आंसर रहेगा नो नो नो, व्हाट रबिश, आई लव बोथ माय किड्स. हिंदी में ये मेरी 2 आंखें हैं, मैं क्या एक आंख को प्यार करूं दूसरे को नहीं, ऑल दिस इज रबिश. इन between the 4 walls of a house, somehow parents tend to love one child more than the other, which is okay. Problem is when they start loving a child so much कि उसको दिन भर गोदी में उठा लेते हैं, उसको ज्यादा देने लगते हैं. होता क्या है, ओवर अ पीरियड जो गोदी में बच्चा था ना, पता भी नहीं चलता है कब सर पे बैठ जाता है. तो एक गोदी में है, दूसरे को टांग के पास भी नहीं आने दे रहा है. लेकिन याद रखना, ये जो टांग के पास वाला टुगेदर 10% में खुश है, वो 18 पे भी रोता है. So please try to bring a level playing field. Try to take us along. Do not concentrate on one only. We have nothing against OTAs. We all use them. But if you could balance it, it would, really be helpful. And if you want to answer on that, I'm good with that.
Homa, all I want to say is that you just transformed from a chaplain to the Hitler here. And I'm voicing the feelings of all my hotel colleagues here.
No, ये ऐसा होता ही है. You never know कब वो बोलेगा, आंख दिखा देगा. So it is better to balance both the kids and take them together. Friends,
I would just say one thing. You started the conversation by saying 2 बच्चे होते हैं घर में. So from our point of view, we have not 1, not 2, but we have 5 market segmentations with which we have to fill up the hotel.
Correct.
So at the end of the day, every bed has to be sold every night. And then there are different time gaps. So an OTA, what gets you business online with a very short pickup compared to travel, which takes much longer. And I think the last 2-3 years have shown that each segment has its own value. And we continuously move towards making sure that we are fair to everyone. I think that's more
No,
important.
I agree, and all sitting over here definitely do that. But since our audience has many individual properties also, we see this happening. And क्यों ना एक drawing से अपना express करें कि हमारे साथ क्या हो रहा है. अगर equal balance हो जाए तो बहुत अच्छा. We have a president who is working really hard. The team is working hard. And may I have music, please? Dana. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
साथी हाथ बढ़ाना, साथी हाथ बढ़ाना, एक अकेला थक जाएगा, मिलकर बोझ उठाना, साथी हाथ बढ़ाना, साथी हाथ बढ़ाना, साथी रे, साथी हाथ बढ़ाना, साथी रे.
Thank you, guys. If there are any questions somebody wants to ask, sorry, you're most welcome. You won't get this opportunity. If there are a few questions, you can identify yourself and ask any question. Agar hai to. Otherwise, no questions. We break for lunch. Thank you for being such a lovely audience. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please remain in your places. We've got a little more ceremony that has to take place. Thank you very much, Homer, for steering it as impeccably as you normally do. I'd like to request Mr. Pranab Sharkar to please do us the honors, since you're up on stage, sir, to present tokens of appreciation to our panelists. We can begin with Maharaj Kumar Sahib Laksharaj Singh Newar, Praveen Chandar Kumar, Vikramjit Singh, and to our fabulous moderator, Homa Mistry. As they take their pictures, ladies and gentlemen, two things that I'd like you to take with you as you're leaving the hall for lunch. First is that we will have the door prizes that will take place after lunch, before we begin the next session. That is pure incentive for you to come back here. Okay? So if you're not here, you'll miss out on those door prizes. Second, most important, lunch is on the ground floor of this building itself, ground floor, and we hope to start our first session after lunch at 2:15. 2:15, and I'm going to start whether you're here or not. So please be back here by 2:15. Thank you.
लीजिए लीजिए लीजिए